You are about to witness history in the making.
Hi guys, welcome to another hot and sticky Pop Culture Gamers podcast. I'm your host for this afternoon, it's Steve, and as usual, my partner in crime, Haydn. How you doing?
I'm doing great, thanks, Steve.
Are you as hot as me?
Well, the wife thinks so.
God, why did I not know that I would get a reaction like that from you, whatever I'm going to say, like, you know, you two turn it, didn't you?
Yes, indeed.
So, it's been a while, I think, isn't it, since we've actually done a proper podcast now?
It is, because we've had our little E3 sort of shows, haven't we? We've had 3 of them, and
yeah.
We had a bit of a break last week because I was ill.
Yeah, and just to put it out there, I'm on call this week, so that's not been fun. So you won't know the interruptions if there's any, but we will.
Yes.
Anyway, I am going to finish my cold drink, and I'm going to let you do your intro before I do mine. So
okay.
That's nice of me, isn't it?
Yeah, thanks for the warning.
Go on then, fire away.
Well, I mean, it does really feel like it has been ages since we've done an intro, so I'm not really sure where to begin.
I know.
Had a few weeks out in the nice sunshine, rather than being stuck to an office, which has been quite nice because every 6 months where I work, we deliver training to people from lots of different organisations like the police, health, schools, the local authority, whatever, on what we call the Developments in Safeguarding Managers Masterclass. So I've been delivering training.
So this is like just for your council, isn't it? For your area, isn't
it? Yeah, for my real job.
Yeah.
Rather than being one of the 2 hosts on this show. But no, so, yeah, I've been delivering, training, and it's been really interesting because we've been teaching professionals who safeguard children about the dark web and how easy it is to get on there, and, so that they know what to look for with, with their children, about fabricated illness, and about some audits and learning that we've done from that, and about young people's sexual health and social and emotional mental health. So it's been quite a good little training course, and I've also been going around a few schools, or rather school meetings, delivering some learning updates from the board, and trying to work closer with schools, because last week was what we dubbed Safeguarding Week.
Oh, okay.
So we got the different agencies across the county to do different events across North Yorkshire to raise the awareness of safeguarding everybody, because safeguarding is everybody's business, basically. But that's what we would do, is we work with the Safeguarding Adults Board and the Community Safety Partnerships and the Office of the Chief of Police and all of that sort of stuff. The Police Commissioner, rather. So, quite a big thing for us, really, in terms of what we do. But that's not the main bit of news that I've got for my work, because while having an absolute splitting migraine, full of hay fever, could hardly talk, completely nasal, I had an interview last Friday.
You did, didn't you? I remember you told me about this the other day, didn't you?
Yeah, I did. I had an interview to jump ship, as it were.
Is it official now, within your sort of people you mix with?
Yeah, I am moving over to the Safeguarding Adults Board from the Safeguarding Children's Board. to do work there instead. So I'm really looking forward to having a bit of a new challenge, because I've been at the Safeguarding Children board for 6 years, nearly. So just counting the days until that happens now. But it's quite strange, because I'm suddenly gone from having lots of things that I'm going to have to be doing to closing down a lot of things that I am doing. Because I'm going to have to start, but I'm sort of like planning for my successor, as it were, which is a weird feeling after all that time. But still really looking forward to to a new challenge, basically. But it's more of the same, but it's adults, so there's a big difference between Safeguarding Children and adults, but there's a lot of similarities as well. You know, because with adults there has to be more consent and stuff like that than there does with children. It's a different sort of scenario, because some children are not old enough to give consent, as it were, and you have to go for parental consent, and so that, or maybe not at all, but if it's a real safeguarding issue. So it's a different world. So it's going to be a big steep learning curve, but I'm looking forward to the challenge.
Cool. So in the gaming world, then what you've been up to? I know one of your games, obviously, because you've seen a tweet about it, but
well, to be honest, I've been in a bit of a slump. You know when you get those sort of points where it's a bit hard to do anything really, because you just can't engage with a game. Because I'd come off doing Far Cry 5, which I'd really enjoyed, and then I'd gone straight on to God of War, which I really enjoyed, and then there was sort of like a bit of a hole there, and no matter what I tried playing, I just wasn't really getting into it in exactly the same way. So
that's where I come in, though, isn't it? Really?
Well, actually, no, because what happened? It's before that happened, because I then caught on to Detroit Become Human.
Yeah, obviously.
And I played that, and I absolutely hammered that, and I've completed it. Well done. And I loved it.
I didn't see your post. There was a couple of shots here. I didn't know if that would be spoilers for me. So
not so really.
I didn't really look at it.
No.
But so we can talk about that later.
No, I did do one of a shot of one of my paths, because when you get to the end of a section, it showed you some of the paths that you could have taken. And for example, I completely cocked up the quick time events on the last one to do with the robots, because there was somewhere you had to physically move the controller to the right, with the 6-axis.
Oh, when you're doing, I'm with you.
And I used a stick, and I kept doing the same mistake each time, so consequently I failed the QTE. So as a result of that, I didn't get a favourable thing for the robots. But
that's too much information for me at the minute.
Well, just look at the symbols that are on there, to be honest, mate. But yeah, fantastic game. I'll talk more about that later on. One that you need to go back to desperately. But I also, after yesterday afternoon, sat there going, I don't know what to play. I've got Game Pass, and there's nothing on there I want to play.
I was playing, because obviously I'm on call, as I say, and so the missus went out at one point. She was on her phone doing bits and pieces. I must have been on there for about 8 hours yesterday, it felt like. And she said, "You've been on it all day?" I said, "Oh, no, surely not."
Yeah, it is one of those games that sort of like eats your time. So the game that we are talking about is obviously the new Jurassic Park game.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic game.
Yeah.
And we won't say more than that at the minute, because you can listen to that later. With I've got a great story. It was quite amusing actually with my park. But yeah, no, it just took me back to Roller Coaster Tycoon type, that sort of style.
It is, and to be honest, on the PC sort of side, Frontier, who produced this, same people who do Elite Dangerous.
Frontier,
yeah, they also have a theme park sort of game as well.
Yeah, I did play. Yeah, Roller Coaster Tycoon, and then there was a theme park. This is PC days, going back in the day.
No, this is a new one.
Oh, okay.
Or a newer one. I think
I played Six Flags as well. Did you ever play that one?
No, I haven't played that one.
Which is the American theme park. But yeah, no, there's a great twist on this game and what you can play in it, and you don't. If you don't keep an eye on it, you forget what you can do, and it's just so clever.
Yeah. It's a great game.
We'll talk about that later. Anything else?
Yes. I actually, to be honest, the other day I was so bored, I actually loaded up Typing of the Dead. So it's House of the Dead.
Oh, okay.
But you type instead, so as the zombies are coming towards you, you type in words.
You must have been bored.
Do you know what? Actually, it was quite a good laugh. It really was quite a good laugh. I quite enjoyed it. I'm sad. But no, that was quite good fun. I also have been playing a bit of Destiny 2.
Haven't we
just
both? Yeah, separately.
Up in the characters. Yes, because you wouldn't come for a Nightfall with me.
No, it's too tired. It's too hot and sticky to do it.
Yeah. I played Gemini, Heroes Reborn.
Yeah.
And also the Far Cry 5 DLC. First one that's come out. Obviously I mentioned about Detroit Become Human. And the other one I've played is Gorogoa, which is a puzzle game.
Okay.
And it's a very clever puzzle game, but I'll talk about that later on. So what's been happening with you, Steve? Because we haven't been catching up recently.
No, we've been really leading our separate lives, I think, haven't we?
We have.
But to be honest, I think I've been all E3'd out and zoned out for gaming. As much as yourself, to be honest. And the last few weeks have been busy because, as I say, because I'm working in all I can say is what it is. I won't say where it is because I don't think it's right. I should anyway. But working in this prison at the moment, it's just sapped my energy because I'm up at 5:30, out the door at 6. I'll get back on the road at about 3, luckily, but I'm knackered by the end of the day.
Yeah.
And being on call as well this week because I've actually been out. I've been out and come back at 3 in the morning one day this week.
Yeah, and so it also hasn't helped for us catching up because I've been working 2 nights a week as well and had governor meetings and stuff like that. Yeah. So we just never have the time.
No. So on the gaming front, I decided to go back to Fallout 4, but just have my modded character for mods.
Yeah.
So we have a bit of chat about that. So I think more so. I go because this has just gone onto the Game Pass now. If anyone's out there that have ever thought that maybe that's not their sort of game, but it's you do have Game Pass.
Yeah, you can boot up to find out it's not your sort of game.
Yeah, but what you can do is play it the way I'm playing it at the minute, which might make it a bit more fun for you if you're not bothered about achievements because. It will disable those, but if it's just for a bit of fun and you want to try something different, then we'll chat about that later and how I've progressed with that.
I have to admit, I was looking at the Steam sale, and the Game of the Year edition of Fallout 4 was $9.99.
Oh, that's worth its weight in gold. That is.
The normal game was $9.99 as well, without the season pass, and the season pass was £20 on its own. How does that work? So you can either get the whole game with everything, because that's the Game of the Year version.
Because there's about 3 or 4 parts of DLC there for that.
I know that, but do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It just seems crackers to me that they're charging.
Yeah, I don't know if the DLC is included on the Fallout edition on Game Pass. I don't know about that.
I don't think it is. I think it's just the standard version.
But yeah, so. As you said, as well as you, it's Iron Banner at the moment.
Iron Banana?
No, it's not. No, it's not Iron Banner because that's from the notes from a week ago.
Yes,
so Iron Banana was last week, and this week it is Factions. So I've been playing a bit of that. We can have a chat a bit about that. Slowly enjoying Detroit Become Human, but I've got to a point. Well, a small point where you got to, and you carried on playing, didn't you? So
The Junkyard.
The Junkyard, yeah. And it's funny that Jurassic Park, I'm in that zone for Jurassic Park in all different ways. So luckily enough, my 25th anniversary vinyl is at the moment sitting in Chicago. So its journeys from Texas, where Mondo's pressing. I don't know if it's a pressing plant they got there as well. I'm not sure. But it starts off at Mondo's at Texas, and it's slowly creeping its way back to the UK. So I'm looking forward to that. I think I watched Jurassic Park last week as well, funny enough. So it's a franchise that, I think I love it, really do, really love it. Don't bet yourself. Yeah, no, I love the films. I must see the latest one at some point if I can. So from that point of view, with that Jurassic World, we'll have a chat about that. On a personal front, as you're well aware, I've been continuing to improve my health with my quest to lose weight, which is one that doesn't give you achievements. But what's it now? I think it's we're in 6 months now, isn't it, since January? Yeah. And I've gone from 17 stone to 14 stone 10. So it's a huge jump for me. That's fantastic, mate. And that's without shakes or anything to boot. You know what I mean? It's no magic formula to this. All it's basically doing, I've been watching what I've been eating. But I'll need some new clothes because they're all too big now. Yeah, that is one of the drawbacks, isn't it? I mean, I have to admit, to be honest, I've not been looking after myself at all. Started off the year really quite well, then positive, and then you nosedived. Yeah, well, I was doing yoga because I was a tree. Funny enough, my missus is actually doing that right now as we speak on the Xbox 360. The other room. No, I started going to yoga with my missus, and everything was going fine, and then I did one of the poses and knackered my knee, and then we stopped going for a couple of weeks because my wife didn't want to go without me either, and then we just never went back because by the time I'd got, my knee was well enough to go back, I'd then been offered to work on a Wednesday night, so it was sort of like, okay, can't go then. So, it was just one of them things, but, I'll always choose to earn money over I would to, go to yoga or anything like that. Well, yeah, because that it's for your hobbies, isn't it? If you're earning extra money. Yeah, I mean, the teaching that I do in an evening, it's my pocket money. Yeah, true. So, just saying about hobbies, so obviously my other hobby is vinyl. Because what it is funny because people might think, well, I mean, he's got a load of albums just come out of nowhere, but I've been pre-ordering stuff over the last 6 months. Yeah. So, and I'm getting them from the States, so they do take a while to come. So, a week ago, I got the Back to the Future soundtracks. So they were pre-ordered a while ago. They turned up. Fantastic music. It's as I say, with these sort of albums, these are expanded ones. So the original Back to the Future soundtrack, which I do have, which is a lot of the songs from the film. This is all the music from the composer. Yeah. And there's because they've never been released in these sort of forms. They're like 20 minutes of extra music that's never been pressed in any shape or form. You know what I mean? I do. And they're quite good with the quality of the artwork is brilliant. It really is. I mean, you get your liner notes and bits and pieces like that. And another one that actually I pre-ordered. This one actually wasn't pre-ordered. This one was on eBay, and it was coming from Italy. And this one's come quicker than the one from the States. But it was a soundtrack to Fallout 3. Not your favourite cup of tea game, but hey ho. But yeah, I was really chuffed to get that, and it was sealed. It was in its cellophane. It's not been opened, so yeah. So, and it's in a sort of a yellow Biohazard style sort of vinyl colour for the rads. So that was pretty cool. Speaking of Fallout, I got my beta code for Fallout 76 the other day.
Nice.
So I've just registered that with Bethesda. So when that goes live, I'm sure I'll get an email with the code to do it on the Xbox. Obviously, that was through ordering the Power Armor edition.
So that you could go to future events in cosplay.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. And there's something else. It's funny because I was and ahhing. Now I'm doing a load of overtime. I'm going to have to cut a few hours into pay for this. But I've also ordered an authentic Pip-Boy from Fallout 76. I don't know if you've seen a video of this at all.
I have.
But you build this one as well. So it comes in a snazzy, nice wooden box, and it's all in parts in the box, and you take it out and it's got screwdrivers to build it. Mm. And they are also doing some of the weapons as well. So there's a few different bits and pieces if you're a bit of a Fallout fan like me.
Yeah.
Worth a look on Bethesda's website. And I'm keen actually, because obviously as we were talking about sort of losing weight and stuff like that, I need some new t-shirts. And I've been hopping around on some certain gaming websites and what have you, just looking for some t-shirts. Mm-hmm. Probably time I get them ordered, summer will be gone. But
well, I don't know whether or not you noticed, but Clive Peacock, one of our listeners,
yes,
he posted.
I did for a tenner as well. That is, isn't it?
Yeah.
So I may well do that.
But also the other t-shirts, because it's loudshop.com. It's called.
That's right.
And the t-shirts are like $6.50 a pop.
Yeah, and so you get 4 for a tenner in a bit of a lucky dip scenario.
Yeah.
So I think it's pretty cool, isn't it? That's...
And they're really nice designs as well.
Yeah, so
you know, all of like
sort of some of the Star Wars,
culture.
some of the Star Wars ones you saw there, and that some of the old rip. I think one of those was very much the 70. You know, when it was released back.
Yeah,
in
the retro sort of tops.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, pretty cool. That I'm gonna have to probably go back and have a little nose at that.
Yeah.
I think that's enough rambling on. I think we could go. I think we've had so much going on. We could talk for ages on just a ramble like that. But should we move to gaming this week?
Yep.
No longer a dream, but a reality.
Okay, so you put the news in this week. Would you like to let us all know what it is?
All right. Well, my big prediction for E3 was that we would be seeing Microsoft talking Windows virtual reality for Xbox.
Yes, and I said, yeah, no, not a chance.
Well, there was a lot of indications about that, and there had been some talk about Microsoft was saying it was intending to bring that platform to the X.
Yeah.
Anyway, Microsoft has stepped back from suggestions that it will bring virtual reality games to its Xbox console. So when Microsoft announced its newest console in 2016, it said the device would be capable of delivering high-fidelity virtual reality. Evidently, Microsoft Chief Marketing Officer for Gaming, Mike Nichols, told GameIndustry.biz that the perspective, or Microsoft's perspective on it has been and continues to be that the PC is probably the best platform for more immersive VR and MR. So, obviously, rival PSVR to that format has sold more than 1 million PlayStation VR headsets, which to me I think is quite good considering the fact that other formats have struggled a little bit more. But analysts suggest that VR sales have generally been slow, and Microsoft now says it wants to focus its mixed reality efforts on the PC. So it's bad news for VR on Xbox, unfortunately.
Well, who knows with the talk, this could be swiped to one side, and when the next Xbox comes out, they might say, who knows. It's very difficult to predict, I think, at the moment.
Yeah, I mean, it's, I'll be honest. I've always said that I think that VR is a passing fad, and I still think VR is a passing fad. I don't think it's going to be mainstream, here to stay for a very, very long time. Not until they actually make the glasses so that they are like glasses and they are wireless.
Yeah.
and basically work quite perfectly. And I think that there's a lot of things that they need to do to improve controls. But I still think it's unfortunate that it looks like Windows Mixed Reality's not coming to the Xbox One.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, they've dabbled with stuff in the past, and where it got them, it ends up just being in the bin to a certain degree, doesn't it?
Yeah.
As much as Kinect did work for me well, and for some it didn't. It's I suppose their mission at the moment should be, as we're all well aware, is about games.
Mm.
So bringing out something that's going to be with with hardware side, I think they're too busy on other plans. I think to think about that maybe.
Well, to be honest, I'd rather than be bringing out the games, which obviously they showed a lot of games at E3.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree.
At the end of the day, it's a games platform. So let's have the games. Let's not have experiences. Leave that to PlayStation to explore.
Yeah, I mean,
there
was something I saw. I didn't read the full story. I just saw it posted earlier. But I suppose this may well be coming as much as for other things. But there could be another platform to come up against Xbox,
yes, Google,
PlayStation. Yeah, and again, I don't know.
And there is a suggested Atari console that's supposed to be able to do 4K gaming. Although there's still quite a lot of people who think that that's actually just a swizz.
Yeah, until it's actually out there and we can see what it's doing, we'll have to just wait for that, I think.
Yeah.
But, hey ho. Anyway, should we go through the new releases, or shall I go through the few not so many releases?
Yeah, there's only 3.
So, the first one is, well, it's one we want to chat about a bit later. So, Jurassic World Evolution, PlayStation 4, Xbox One. That's out now. We've got Red Faction Guerrilla remastered, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC.
Remastered.
I noticed that, yeah. Very, very, very clever.
I have to admit, though, I didn't know that they were doing a remaster of that.
I didn't. Does it need one?
Well, I don't think so.
No, I don't.
It was an alright game, but it wasn't that good.
No. And Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr, PlayStation 4, Xbox One.
Yeah.
All out on the 3rd of the 7th. Oh, that's just gone, though, isn't it?
No, the 3rd of the 7th is tomorrow.
Okay.
Sorry, the day after tomorrow. It's Tuesday.
But Jurassic World's out. But Jurassic World's out already, so...
Yeah, but it's only out on digital. You can't buy it until the 3rd on disc.
Okay.
So it's a week early for digital.
For us. Okay, cool. Would you like to do the charts?
I'll do the charts. So, in at number 4, down from 3, is because somehow people haven't learned you can buy this for £2 in CEX, or SEX as they're calling themselves now, is Fallout 4.
Don't you mock Fallout 4.
I'm not mocking Fallout 4. Seriously, why are people paying 20, 30 quid for this game when CEX have a million of them in for £2?
Yeah, but I don't think... I mean, even people like Game are probably not even selling that for that. There are copies out there that are,
yeah,
5-10 quid sort of thing, isn't there?
Yeah. Anyway, by the by, Fallout 4, no doubt hastened through because of
what's to come.
What's to come, people catching up again. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe on the Nintendo Switch. We've got God of War for the PlayStation, FIFA 18 on everything, and Mario Tennis Aces on the Switch. So, very little Xbox on there, I have to admit.
Yeah,
Fallout and FIFA.
Yeah,
they would be part of that, but other than that,
just talking about FIFA. I know you're not a bit of a fan, but I'm enjoying the World Cup. I know it's probably not your cup of tea.
I have to admit, I have watched exactly 0 minutes of the World Cup.
And I'm not surprised, but just going to put it out there that been enjoying it. It's getting down to the crux of the World Cup now with the knockout competition, and look forward to seeing England play Colombia later in the week.
Yep.
And we've already lost Argentina and we've lost Portugal. So that's good news for that. But wait and see. I'm not going to count on chickens just yet.
Mm.
So Games for Gold's just been announced.
Yep. Well, it's out now because I've played Assault Android Cactus.
Oh, of course, yeah, which is one of the ones on the Xbox One.
Yeah, that's a twin-stick shooter.
Is it really? Okay, so from July the 1st to the 31st, as you just said, Assault Android Cactus. Well, do you know what? I forget it's the 1st because I'm thinking it's Monday, but...
Yeah, no, it's not.
Because none of my bills have gone out yet because it's the weekend. And then we get the
that,
1st. So I know my money's going to go down to 0 tomorrow morning. So also we got Death Squared, July the 16th to August the 15th on Xbox One. 360, these will be playable on Xbox One as well. We've got Virtual Fighter 5, the final showdown from the 1st to the 15th. And one that I'm sure I'll be downloading again, which I love playing, Tom Clancy's Splinter Cell Conviction, July the 16th to the 31st.
Bit of Sam Fisher.
Yeah, classic. I loved that game. It was brilliant.
Is that the one with Ironside still?
I'm not too sure. I've got a sneaky suspicion that was that Kiefer Sutherland did that one.
Yeah, I have a feeling it might have been as well.
Because you had that writing on the side of the walls at the beginning of the intro, if I'm thinking of the right one. The way they did it was very much J.J. Abrams style, with having the title screen on the side of the building. As you Google. So while you're checking that, PlayStation Plus.
Yes.
I'm not hammered by that either. Well, so PS4, Heavy Rain and Absolver. Heavy Rain I've got on disc.
Yeah. But you can get rid of them now.
No, I will not get rid of them because I haven't played them yet, and you never know. My PS Plus subscription's got another year to go yet anyway, so...
Yeah.
Plenty of time. It's probably not worth a lot on disc, 'cause it's the dual disc one with Heavy Rain and the other game as well. Which was by the guys that did Detroit Most Human, wasn't it? So...
Yeah.
Anyway, PlayStation 3, we've got Deception 4, The Nightmare Princess, and Rayman 3 HD. On the Vita, we've got Space Overlords and Zero Escape, Zero Time Dilemma. Not a lot to say about them. Yourself?
Not a lot, to be quite honest. Heavy Rain's the best one out of all that. I hate Rayman. Can't stand it.
Yeah, I've got it on a few platforms in the past. I think we've even had it on the phone. But, you know, it's not one I'd rush out to play.
Yeah.
So just before I chat about games, a couple of things. So firstly, I've had Xbox message me about joining the Alpha Skip Ahead program due to my participation in the previous previews with updates. So this is the one that breaks your Xbox probably even more.
Are you not already in that?
No, I mean I've always been in the preview programs. I've always been on the latest the first come first served. But this one has only just come out recently. Right. And it's called the Alpha Skip Ahead. So this is even an earlier build. So I've just been on the Xbox, managed that, so I've signed up for that. That was done within 24 hours. So
was that a message from Xbox, or was it...
Yeah, from Xbox. So as you're probably aware now, isn't it? When you get messages on your Xbox, they've got their own little heading section, haven't they? Which we had also for that game after E3, didn't we? We got that game come through for watching on Mixer. So that section there, it come up with another message saying about Xbox preview program. Right. So that's where it popped in. So I thought that was pretty cool. So I've done that. Also, if you're in any of the previews, you've got the Avatar beta, which isn't bad. I know it's probably it's an early build, and there isn't a lot there to use to put your avatar together. But I quite like it. I don't know about you. What do you think? Because you've got it.
I have, yeah. I made mine character sort of like Marty McFly-ish.
I nearly did that because I saw that puffer jacket which they say life preserver in the movie. But no, I thought being football, I'd just have a pair of tight football shorts on and a ball by my feet. But I think it's quite cool.
Yeah,
don't you think so?
Yeah, I have to admit though, I wish that they'd have allowed you or interpreted your old avatar into the new style. That's, I think, one thing that they did wrong on it.
Well, I think what they might do, obviously, because for my character, I've got like a Star Trek uniform on. So I'm assuming a lot of those type of avatar clothing that was available, hopefully will be available.
Well, I'm hoping so, because I've got either a single or a double lightsaber. But I've also got Han Solo's outfit on.
You have, yeah. So all these, I mean, there's a minimum amount of props at the minute, but this is only a beta, remember? So I'm sure this will sort of progress into something a bit bigger than what it is. But as I say, being a beta, you're not going to get a great.
The avatars are more inclusive though, because they've got people in wheelchairs as well, haven't they?
Well, they're giving you that. They're giving you more of a feel for what type of gamer you are, aren't they? Which I think, whether you're going to call that PC correct or whatever, it doesn't matter. But I think it's a great idea for those that maybe are in wheelchairs and want to just put it out there that the sort of gamer they are, then they can have that sort of prop, can't they? And with Microsoft going more towards disabled gamers, shall we say, which has been great, I'm all for it, to be honest. You know. Also, as I just quickly mentioned, we had another message from Xbox about watching their E3 briefing on Mixer, and we've got Outer Wilds, an open world mystery about a solar system trapped in an endless time loop. So that's now sitting ready to go. But have you noticed the time it's being released?
Yes. Well, I posted that because Nikki replied to me, said it's a race between that and Shenmue 3. And I said, nah, this is going to be before Shenmue 3.
I think that obviously is a play on when this is probably set.
I think that's probably just a date that they've stuck in, just because they have to fill it out as a...
Well, from the type of game it's going to be, whether it's going to be this sort of space type mystery in the solar system, whatever, and there's a time loop involved in it, that they put that wacky time frame in, maybe. Either that, or else you're just going to have to wait 800 years to be able to play it. Yeah, and also, just briefly, that free game, which in brackets is about 3-4 hours long, from the Life is Strange universe, that's out now.
Yeah, but don't expect any achievements for that, because they've classified it as a demo, even though it's not a demo. But evidently, if you play that, then it impacts on what happens in Life is Strange 2.
Yeah, well, I've already completed that, so I might have some tweak. There might be a few Easter eggs.
Was it very long?
What, Life is Strange 2? No, I haven't played the this game yet.
Oh, right, sorry.
So I did notice it was out, and I heard that it was, it's within that same universe. But what they have done is they have you haven't completed
Life is Strange 2. You completed Life is Strange Before the Storm.
I've completed Life is... Oh, yeah, sorry, I do apologise. Life is Strange 2 is coming out later this year.
How on earth have you completed that? And I thought, no, I know what he's on about.
No, because obviously we had Life is Strange, then we had the sequel being a prequel, as such. And as I say, Life is Strange 2 is coming out this year. So whether you wait for all 5 to be released, I just wish they could just give you that option straight off the back, to be honest. Release them a week, maybe release them once a week or something, So that's to look forward to. So just briefly with Destiny 2, I was enjoying Iron Banner last week. My character Warlock's up to 366. Really looking forward to the changes that are coming on the new roadmap for the new content Forsaken. And there's a lot of positive... I'm not going to go into that now because it'll probably bore a lot of people, but there's a lot of content to be coming with that, and a lot of tweaks to make it probably what Destiny 1 was by the end of the sort of life it had before Destiny 2 came out.
Yeah, but I do hope that it doesn't mean that we're going to have a year of what they did with Destiny 1 on Destiny 2. I know that you're buying the season pass, so there's going to be more paid for content, but the second year of Destiny was really quite dire for content.
Yeah, well, obviously there is going to be that pass that you can buy with Forsaken, which will give you three DLCs as such, but you don't have to buy that straight away anyway. You can just go and buy Forsaken and enjoy that, including all the updates that will be coming early in September.
I mean, I have to admit, to be honest, I much prefer the idea that they're going to charge you, say, 40-50 quid a year to completely overhaul a game and get new content and stuff like that, than do what they did in year 2, because year 2, it was part, the Sparrow Racing League stuff.
Yeah,
was entertaining for a bit, but only a bit. It wasn't anywhere. If they wanted to do something like that, they didn't do it well enough, and there wasn't enough tracks.
No, but I think for that, I was using it more as a grind to get some exotics. To be honest, even though it was fun for a while.
It was for a while, but it just ended up being a bit of a pain. And then when I brought it back, it was sort of like, but.
Yeah, but no, I think it's really good. I mean, at the moment, say we got factions this week, and I've stuck with Dead Orbit because I want to hit that level. Not that I've got the time like most that can do it in a week. I want to hit level 50 so I can get the ornament for my my Graviton Lance.
Yeah.
So that's my mission, if anything. Hopefully when my Xbox cools down, because at the moment it's sitting there with a little air conditioning unit over it because we're so hot in here. I'm cooling it down because it keeps shutting down as if it thinks there's a heating issue. So no mocking on any other one, but any bit of kit in this weather is going to not like it. And as my Xbox is normally on 24/7, it's got a bit warm, so I've turned it off,
living room
unplugged it.
South facing?
I haven't at Scooby's.
Well,
me south,
when you
north,
look
east,
at out the window, at your wall in the road,
the sun's in first. Sun's in first thing in the morning on one side. Comes straight in.
Right. Okay. So it's east facing.
Yeah, and with it in there, I was in there earlier. It's just so hot. It's a bit cooler in here. I've got one window open, but I didn't want too many open just due to any traffic spoil what we're doing. But yeah, so I've been really enjoying a bit of factions at the moment.
Yeah, I've done a little bit of it, but not much.
I mean, I think I've just hit level 30 the other night, so I've only got another 20 to go. And season 3, what we're going to be probably bouncing back between Iron Banner and factions anyway. Yeah. So I'll just keep sticking to Iron Banner. Sorry, keep sticking to my faction till I get to the end, really, just so I can get it. So, but yeah, those that I've got the time to cane it all the time, I just don't have the time at the moment.
Well, especially not to level 50, because that's a heck of a grind.
Yeah, well, I think I got to level 25 in the first week. So I haven't done bad, to be honest. So I've now got to level 30. Because obviously what that does is, as you progress through that level, you can go to the character and there are some unlocks on weapons as well. And ships and stuff like that, which I've got so far, which I've gone and bought. So it's all right. I mean, I'm really enjoying it. That's pretty cool. On Fallout 4, let's say a little chat about that, because I know this is not your. You should probably have a go at this. Really, might be worth it. So what I've done is, because we got the mod system, I've started a new character, and what I've done is I've set up with a cheap terminal, modern firearms, radio Fallout, the Sanctuary's realistic roads, and extra greenery. So it puts a little take on the game. I've got it on God mode, so I can just run around with any weapon I want, the amount of ammo I want, and just enjoy it. And it's a great way to play a game if you're not interested in achievements. I mean, as I say, I'd already completed the game anyway, but I'm just finding it a blast just going around playing like this. And also what I did was, because I had 100 credits from when I got the game originally to do with the creation store, I've set my garage up as an arcade room. And
I saw your pictures, actually.
So you can go to each arcade and play those arcade games that you pick up in the game as if it's on a terminal. It's brilliant. So I'm sort of really enjoying the game, and I'm just getting to Diamond City at the moment in the game, so it's not very much farewell progression in the game. But it's just great running around shooting stuff, and I love it. It's a nice way to relax, where you don't have to worrying about your health, whether you're going to die or respawn here, respawn there.
Didn't you used to have to on Fallout 4 have like water and stuff like that as well?
Well, you can. Well, in Fallout 3 as well, you can set it up as a survival mode if you wanted to. If you feel the need to play the game in the hardest difficult way you can. But yeah, no, I'm really enjoying it. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Putting extra greenery in it and trees. Even the sanctuary, I've upgraded that so it looks like it did before the bomb dropped.
There was I was watching a YouTube video about improving the way that Fallout 4 looks. It wasn't one I'd chosen to watch. It just flipped onto it afterwards, and I thought, I can't be bothered to change it, so I'll just watch it. Yeah. And it was saying about some good mods to load that vastly improve the graphical quality.
Yeah.
And like facial one, there's a mod for characters that makes their faces not look like deflated footballs.
Yeah. You'd have to probably send me a link to that one. I don't know if I've seen it.
I'll try and find it, and I'll send you.
I mean, if it floats your boat, there's ones there to improve the backsides of the women. If you've got a woman character, for example, there's just crazy stuff on there. But obviously it can break the game. But they do put it out there that these mods can
especially
do that.
On a vanilla Xbox, because I'm sure the X has got the horsepower, but on a vanilla Xbox it's more likely to break it because it'll start to bottleneck and drop frame rates and stuff like that, won't it?
Yeah. But if you just had a browse at these mods and just see how many there are, it's incredible, really. And actually, it's the same. I've not really been back to it, but Skyrim's exactly the same. If you fancy ever diving on that one, I don't think it's on the pass, but if you still own it, that's got the mod set up as well.
They were also saying on the same video, the follow-up video, that exactly the same sort of stuff. Put this mod on, put that mod on.
Yeah. So that's, other than, we'll talk about Jurassic World at the end. We'll sort of tie that in with yours. Do you want to go through the other games?
Yeah. Okay. So, I've started playing Gemini Heroes Reborn. So this is based on the Heroes Reborn TV series by Tim Kring, which is also based on Heroes.
Did it fail? Though,
the TV series did. It only lasted one season, and to be honest, I think that's a bit of a shame because I don't think it was that bad. There have been a lot worse shows that have gone on than Heroes was. But it's not our decision, is it? At the end of the day, but
no.
I mean, I wasn't expecting much from this game because the TV series was cancelled. I know that this game's been around a while now, and it's also on PlayStation and Xbox. But basically, it's a bit like it is a first-person sort of game. The game doesn't centre around any of the new heroes or the old ones from the original TV series. But you're cast as somebody called Cassandra. And basically, what it is that you're trying to find out who your parents are, and you're trespassing in an abandoned facility. and that's about as deep as the story gets. Really. You develop your powers over time. The first one that you get is time travel, where you can pop back and forward through time. So, for example, if there's a guard there, and you want to avoid them, you can travel forward in time, or, back in time, go past where he was, and then go back to the future, as it were, and carry on with what you were doing. But there are also, like, hidden collectibles. There's about 40-something hidden collectibles, I think, in the game in certain time periods. There's only 2 that you can flip between, or at least when you first start. I haven't played this for hours, I have to admit as well, so this is like more hot reflections than a review. But then you also then get telekinesis, that ability, so you can throw around objects and people as well. And that allows you to unblock certain areas and gives a certain thing for different sort of puzzle effects that you can do in the game. The first few levels are basically tutorials, and they are a bit of a pain, and they can feel quite restrictive, because you can only, in certain parts right at the beginning, you can only actually do exactly what they tell you to do. Which I don't like that in a game. I know it's supposed to be there as a help to teach you, but to be honest, it really wasn't that difficult to get through some of the stuff that they're doing. Like, for example, use the right stick to look up. Well, really? Never would have guessed that in a million years. I would have always used the right bumper.
Do you remember, like, when you first played Halo? Yeah, and you had
it's very old schooly sort of tutorial. But it's not that bad. It's not a really, really super long game. Evidently, it's about 5 or 6 hours. So I'm probably about halfway through at this point. Although there's quite a few chapters in the game. And it doesn't really tell you that well about what some of your objectives are. So, for example, I was in this one particular place, flipping between past and present, and it was filled with guards in both sort of sides. And what I didn't realise was I was supposed to use my telekinesis to knock people out. I was trying to avoid them. But you can also things like catch bullets and rockets and things like that are shot at you and then shot them back at people, which is quite neat. If you stay still for a few seconds, your health regenerates. So overall, it's not a bad game. It's more fun to play than you would probably think, but it's very much a sort of like 6 or 7 out of 10 if you had to give it a score. Not that I think we should ever do that, but it gives you that sort of flavour of sort of game it is. The type of game that you'll be quite happy to play, but you wouldn't really go and look for it to play for. But it's not very expensive. I think it fluctuates between about £10 and £16.
Okay. That's not too bad, though, is it, really?
Not too bad. We've already done Destiny talk, so I won't go on any further than that. Just one second. Sorry about that. So, the next game is the Far Cry 5 DLC for Hours of Darkness. So this is the first of the DLC for Far Cry 5, and it's completely different to the main story of the game, which is set in America, in a very Biblistic sort of part of America, etc. Yeah. This setting, like I said, completely different. So you play as Hope County resident Wendell Redler, who obviously it's Hope County from Far Cry 5, and one of the characters from there. So, but you're a Vietnam War veteran who's describing the tale of how he was shot down behind enemy lines in Vietnam and had to survive as he fought his way to the extraction point. So the game is basically Rambo First Blood Part 2.
Now that I like the idea of.
And I mean that right down to the exploding arrows as well.
Oh, God, that was such a cool moment.
Oh, it is. Especially when, you're sneaking about, you get the exploding arrows, you shot it into the middle of a load of people, and then they just all fly off in different directions. It's cool.
No, I'm just thinking of the actual scene where the guy is a Chinese guy shooting his gun, and he just falls short with the bullets hitting the rocks just beside him, and he gets out that arrow with the tip on it, and he just explodes into about a billion bits. It's classic.
Yeah. I was thinking of the Hot Shots Part D bit where he pulls that chicken.
Oh, right, yeah, of course he does. Yeah, Charlie Sheen, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, that's such a classic thing as well. But yeah, so basically it is First Blood Part 2.
Yeah, okay.
The Rambo movie. There's an entirely new jungle map as well, so it's completely new. It's probably about half the size of Far Cry 5's main map.
Yeah.
At the most, I would say. There's POWs all over the place. There's loads of enemy soldiers. There's even jungles in the cats in a jungle which will attack you.
So
as well.
We're talking a bit more of another Rambo film here with the Rambo 3, was it? I can't remember which one it was now.
Rambo.
No, I'm thinking of where he was rescuing the POWs.
Oh, that's First Blood Part 2.
Was it? I can't remember now. They all
because Rambo 3 was in Afghanistan.
Oh yeah, but the last one they did called Rambo.
Yeah, Rambo.
They went with those, went into that sort of area against similar sort of thing with same sort of idea. But yeah, no, that's great. Carry on, sorry.
I must admit, the last Rambo film, I think they should have called it Rambo Last Blood Part 1.
Well, they're making a new one at the moment.
I know, that's what I mean. So then that could be Rambo Last Blood Part 2.
But they're just vicious, bloody movies. They're just great,
Yeah.
But yeah.
But so yeah, it's that kind of game that is very similar to those films. One significant one of the things that you have to do is you can either head straight to the extraction point, which will mean that you'll probably complete the campaign in less than an hour.
Okay.
Or if you want to do more, then there's lots of missions for you to do. So there's encampments, rescuing Vietnamese people who have been captured by who you're fighting, rescuing POWs and the rest of your squad, and they will help you. Like the hired guns element of Far Cry 5. You've not played Far Cry 5 though, have you?
No, I haven't yet.
You really should play that.
But you know what? It's at the moment with what games I have and I'm not playing and what I could play. I think this would be great on a sale to pick it up.
Yeah, it would be. There's a new perk system in the game which bases on your stealth. So when you make a stealth kill, it activates your first perk, so that'd be like faster movement. And then there's other ones such as auto tagging, quieter movement, all of that. And every time that you make a kill, it adds one perk on.
Right.
However, where it changes is as soon as you were spotted by the enemy.
Yeah, sorry about that.
It's alright. As soon as you're spotted by the enemy, you have to build it up again because it all dissipates. So basically, if you want to use the perks, it makes you play stealthily. You don't have to, but obviously there is achievements about that and that sort of stuff. But overall, a definite plus, albeit a little bit brief as a game. Although if you play it to do everything in it, it's going to take you a few hours. Because, like I said, the map's quite big, and
is there a lot of collectibles and stuff like that again? Sort of ideas.
Not so much collectibles, although there is. It's like collecting lighters, where you've got to find down planes and that sort of stuff.
God.
And then you go to the dead body and get the lighter off them. But that's about really the only collectible. All of the rest of the stuff is liberate. This base, liberate that base, or do other objectives, like for example, destroy propaganda speakers and things like that. But I've really quite enjoying it as a game. as a bit of DLC. I'm quite happy with it. I'm looking forward to one of the other ones because that's supposed to be based on Mars.
That'd be pretty cool, wouldn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, because I don't think they've ever done a Far Cry in space before, so it'll be
well,
interesting
I
to see
think every other game's probably done something in space, but it's Call of Duty or what? So I suppose it's only takes its time to do it, doesn't it?
Battlefield hasn't, has it?
Not yet, no.
No,
but we don't need it.
No. So that's it, but it's well worth it. So if you've got the season pass or you're thinking of getting the season pass, if the rest of it is this quality, then it's well worth the value, to be honest.
Yeah.
So the next game is Gorogoa. And what can I say about this apart from it is a very unique puzzle game. So the game works basically on a grid of 2x2 pictures.
Yeah.
Which you can zoom into parts of that picture and take that element of the picture and put it into another picture. And then you can overlay other parts of other pictures over the top of that. So to give you an example of what I mean, there's one bit where there's a picture with a ring in it and you can zoom in and see the ring. Then you can grab the picture of the ring and put it into another square, and then there's another square that has somebody in a room, and if you zoom out of that picture it shows you them typing away at a computer through a yellow window, a yellow shaded window. And if you take the template of the ring and put it over the face, it gives you a coin which you can then use on something else.
Right.
So it's like it's a very clever sort of thing, and there are things like some of the images are on a slant, so they're at 90 degrees or 180 degrees from where you would need it. And you have to build up a picture in part of, either across the bottom or across one of the sides or across the top to turn that picture using cogs and whatever that's in the picture and animations that are going on. So it's an incredibly different sort of game in terms of what how you play it.
Yeah. And
it's all hand drawn images. And it looks really very attractive as well. Really nice animations in the whole game. If you're looking for something that's really super fast paced, this isn't your sort of thing. But like you're playing Jurassic World at the moment because you're wanting something that's chilled. This will give you that chilledness as well.
Oh, okay.
You can complete the game if you know all of the solutions in about half an hour. But if you're actually playing the game to work out the solutions, you're probably looking, depending upon how good you are at working it out, about 3 hours.
Oh, so not long then.
No, not long, but it's only a cheap game. It's not. It's only tenner or something like that. Obviously, and it one of the indie titles, but it's. It is a really attractive game. It looks nice. I think it's on Xbox and PlayStation.
Yeah.
I played it on the Xbox and I completed it. And there are also achievements in completing a game in under 500 moves. But there's incredibly intricate sort of puzzles to do. So you'll go into one box and there'll be something falling, and you've got to put that in one of the top boxes, and then in the bottom put a different picture which correlates, and then before the object has then fallen in the second picture, swap that one to the top and then put another one underneath to catch what it is that's falling or whatever. So, you have to really think on your feet in terms of how this game is and pay attention to every individual frame that's going on, because there are clues in the picture and stuff like that, but your character might might go up some stairs and then be stood in a doorway, and you have to take a doorway of another picture and overlay it on him so that he'll come out and then walk round the corner. That sort of thing. So it's really a very unusual puzzle game, but completely enjoyed playing it. and I did complete it as well. But it's also on Android, iOS, Windows, Nintendo Switch, PlayStation 4 and Xbox
So it's everything other than the toaster.
Yes.
It's alright, isn't it?
It is, yeah. It's particularly red toasters from Dread Dwarf.
Yeah, in joke. Yeah, okay, I love that, yeah.
Yeah. So that's that one. So my next one is one of the big ones that was on the PlayStation, and that is Detroit Become Human. So it's Quantic Dream's latest game, and I've got to admit it's an absolute masterpiece.
Because you actually poo-pooed this a bit, didn't you? Originally thinking, I'm not going to bother playing
I wanted this, but I was thought I'll wait until it comes down, and then I thought, no, I can't be bothered. I want to play it now.
It does highlight from the PlayStation's point of view. So how graphical good that looks, especially at the beginning when you first go out and you're walking around the city.
Even before that, from the character who greets you when you load up the game.
Oh yeah,
first.
how freaky is that? But do you know what I found really bizarre?
Yeah.
When you haven't loaded it up for a while, like I haven't, when I went back to it that time, she came back and says, "Hi, I haven't seen you for a while." I thought, well, who's watching who here?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, if you've played Heavy Rain, or if you've played Beyond Two Souls,
yeah, which I've got both of those sitting on disc, not been unwrapped yet.
Oh man, what are you doing? You've not completed this. You haven't done those.
No, I know. It's just the way it is at the minute. You know, we're gonna have we have these sort of lulling gamings, but you know.
Yeah. But I got this, and to be honest, I just stopped playing everything else until I'd completed it. And it was frustrating me because I got it at the beginning of the week, and then I had a governor's meeting, I had to teach the next night, and I had to teach the next night. So it was sort of like, I had it for 3 days and not being able to do much with it.
Yeah. How many hours do you think it took you to complete it?
Difficult to say.
Well, you can't really tell on PlayStation, can you, though, can you?
No.
They haven't got that sort of
10 or 15 hours, I think.
Did you play it from the sense that you took the game as how it played out without going back to tweak it a bit?
I don't think you can go back to tweak it.
Well, you can
tweak it.
when you finished
it. You can.
No, what I mean is when you finish a chapter, I think you can go back at that point there and replay that chapter.
No, I didn't. I did it all
off the
legit. Yeah.
So that's how I'm playing it at the moment.
Yeah.
Without spoiling, as I say, yeah, I've gone as far as the junkyard, but I've still got a fair bit to go, have I? Obviously, you know more than I do now because you finished it.
Man, you're only at the beginning.
There
is so much more. Yeah, you really need to get on that, to be honest.
Depends if it will it power up in this heat.
Yeah. I mean, it's PlayStation, so it'll probably melt through the core of the earth in this heat. But
yeah.
No, I mean, it's absolutely fantastic. I love the fact that Lance Henriksen was on it.
Yeah, I didn't like to say too much because obviously if you haven't got that far, but I knew that straight off the back when I heard his voice. As soon as we got to that part of the game, I knew who exactly it was, and it was. I did double take. I thought, hey, that's not a bad look that they've given him. Obviously, those that don't know who Lance Henriksen is,
he was Bishop in Alien.
Yeah, I think he's done other stuff. He actually had a bit part in Close Encounters of the Third Kind, believe it or not.
Yeah,
he was in that, and he obviously had his own TV show with Millennium, which was a psychological sort of stories and that, and yeah, he's done a lot of stuff. Good actor.
Did you know who else was in it though?
I'm not too sure because depending on how far I've got, I've not really looked. I didn't want to go back looking at the Internet Movie Database if it was going to spoil it for me.
Clancy Brown?
I'm not sure who that is off the top of my head.
He was Kurgan in Highlander.
Oh, okay. Does he have that grunt? Does he have to still have that sort of gruntled voice in it?
Yes, he did. He was also on Lost as well, actually. But yeah, Clancy Brown. He's the detective.
Oh, I
the human detective.
Well, yeah, because I think in the game where I got to, without trying to spoil it, Because the android...
You must have met him by then.
I have. The only point where I've met him is where I had to go to the bar.
Yeah.
And then went on a slightly small mission, looking at obviously there was an incident in a house, and that's that part of the game there where you had to go around checking out what was going on.
Yeah. Was that where there was a chase as well? Did you have a chase at the end of that?
I can't remember now.
Well, anyway, you need to play that game, to be honest, because it is such a good thing. I mean, it's also got Jesse Williams from Grey's Anatomy, and The Cabin in the Woods, and the other person, Valerie Curry, who was in Blair Witch.
Don't think I ever saw that.
She was also in The Tick and the Twilight Saga Breaking Dawn Part 2.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So it's amazing how they get a lot of these actors to do these voiceovers now.
Yeah.
I think because gaming is now is in high regard, as it's a bigger industry than movies at a lot of points, isn't it?
Yeah.
So actually getting to voice a character in some of these bigger games, I think they get a nice little paycheck for that.
I have to admit, in terms of her character, because in the game, you revolve around 3 characters. You've got Kara, who's a housekeeper android, and that's Valerie Curry.
Yeah.
And she's looking after a little girl called Alice.
Yeah, bless her. I'm not going to talk about that part of the story because I get annoyed.
Yeah, there's trust me, there is so many twists on that. You'll love it. You will really love it when you get to the end of that.
Yeah, I tell you where I am. Because guys, if you're listening and don't want to know, just switch off for 2 minutes. I've got to the point where I had to go look for a shelter for her.
Yeah.
And then we went in this house. I think that's where it ended that little bit.
Mate, there is so much you haven't found Jericho or anything yet.
There was a nutter in this house where they sort of took shelter over the night, and at first I thought he might have been a bit of an idiot. But yeah, no, it's very well thought out.
It is, and what I love is the fact is that there are, on that bit, 3 options of what you can do. You can either stop in a hotel that doesn't allow droids, stop in a car, or stop in that house. Yeah,
but I screwed it up a little bit because you had to steal some money, or there's all these little bits, isn't there? And then there was a guy in the laundrette if you didn't as well.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it's great. It's something that actually I couldn't actually play that while on call because I couldn't concentrate because I'm just looking at my phone to go off.
Yeah. No, it was really good. So that was Kara. The other one is Connor, who is a prototype detective droid. He's played by Brian Dechart,
and he obviously he was the beginning of the game with the demo, wasn't he?
He was, yeah. I'm trying to think what he's been on. I don't think he's... what's he been on? The Remaining, and Dreams from a Petrified Herd, and Awakened. So, not any of the films that I've kind of watched before. So, I recognise his face, but I didn't recognise what he'd been on. You know what I mean? And then the other one is Marcus, who's a carer droid for what do you call him? Lawrence Henriksen.
Lawrence Henriksen.
Yeah. He was and basically he's like a privileged droid, isn't he? Who has a big fall from grace. And then he sort of like leads the revolt.
Yeah, I'm well aware of the story. He's going to go down that route, but obviously I've stayed away from all anything to know what's going to go on.
I think, to be honest, that's pretty obvious anyway, because just the nature of everything in the game that it's going to go that way. But I'm not saying how that's getting there or anything, because that's the important thing.
To be honest, though, we did see that in that E3 trailer last year.
Yeah,
when you saw that vehicle go through the glass of that shop, and there these androids were there all saying about revolting.
Yeah.
To whatever was going on. So
Yeah. But I love the fact that this game develops by your actions, and you can kill off characters in the game.
Yeah.
So, that's really quite good. There's so many different options for you to do. That when you actually see the decision tree at the end of each level, it's massive. Absolutely massive. The characters give, expressiveness, both through verbal and non-verbal communication. So, there's like very slight, very human non-verbal communication methods going on with them, little inflections on the face and stuff like that, that looks absolutely amazing in 4K. And the acting for the motion capture was also excellent and gives you a real sense of immersion in the story, I think. But if you've played Heavy Rain or Beyond Two Souls, you'll be completely at home with this.
Yeah,
completely.
I think it's a sort of game where if you could play that at home and you had your other half sitting there.
Yeah, you could play it as a story.
I think she would. I'm not saying everyone, but I think a lot of them would probably, their ears would prick up and probably start watching you play it as if it's a TV show.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, I had to kick my son out because I think it's an 18, the game, although I'm not really sure why. Didn't think it was that bad. But, he was like, he came in when I was doing like just one of the wandering around looking for stuff bits and, little bits of dialogue.
Yeah.
And he was absolutely amazed at the quality of, how it looked and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, the interaction, I do like the idea of using the controller the way you do as well.
Yeah.
So you have to use that 360 access on it to do certain parts of the game.
But the thing is that this is more how the Telltale game should be going, I think. Because, to be honest,
it would take a lot more development, though, to just give you one of those games, wouldn't it?
I'm not on about the visual style. I'm on about the, for want of a better term, game underneath, because these are interactive stories, they're not games.
Yeah.
Where your actions choose what's going to happen in the story. So, I wouldn't really, to me, it's more of a story than a game, like the Telltale ones, but it's a more involved one. And my understanding is that the next Walking Dead is going to be the last game from Telltale that it's going to use its existing engine, which is over 10 years old.
Yeah.
So hopefully we will start to see Telltale games coming up to the Quantic Dreams sort of status.
Well, they probably are aware of these sort of games and what they look like, and they're probably thinking to themselves exactly the same thing that we are.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it'd be really interesting to see how they progress from this point.
To be honest, I think Quantic Dreams and Telltale both do fantastic stories.
Do you think they should have emerged as a company?
No, because I quite like the fact. I just wish that Xbox owners would be able to experience this, and PC owners, because it is such a good game that it's a shame that this is an exclusive.
Exclusive in brackets, shall we say, that there are times when things do turn up on the Xbox. You never know.
Yeah, but this isn't going to be one of them.
No.
Because otherwise Heavy Rain and that would have made it to Xbox by now. Yeah,
it's a real shame though, but again, as much as some people like the idea of exclusives, to be honest, why can't we all play them on whatever box you've got,
Yeah.
It'd be a much more better way anyway.
So that's Detroit Become Human. If you've got a PlayStation, get this game if you like something that's really heavily story based, because it is really quite emotive as well as a story.
Would you say that this would warrant a purchase for a PlayStation?
Not exclusively, but with the the other two games, Heavy Rain and Beyond Two Souls,
or even God of War and
God of War, for those, and then you can get God of War and you can get the Uncharted games and all that. If you've only got Xbox, you're really missing out on a lot of opportunities here that you're not going to share. And likewise, if you're on PlayStation only, and all of the Halos and, everything else that's on there, you're missing out as well. I think while it's really expensive, you can pick up a cheap PlayStation or Xbox now for very little amount of money, relatively speaking, how they were when they were released. So it's better to have both of them and, enjoy what both has to offer and not be fanboyish about it all, because they're both good consoles, in their own way, in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, yeah. But Detroit Become Human, definitely get it.
Oh, I totally agree. And I will get
it
back.
Completed then.
Oh, yeah, but I'm playing other games at the moment, so can you play one game at a time? Well, saying that, I can play a few games at once, but I think Detroit, you need to stick with that on its own, just cane it. So,
yeah, well, cane it every night for a week. You'd be aware.
But I want to play Jurassic World at the moment. so I've only got one pair of hands. All
right, so leading on through that subtly put in segue.
I like doing that. So it's funny because picking this up at first, I weren't too sure what I was letting myself in for. As much as I love playing these sort of games, as I said earlier in the show, back in the day when you're playing Roller Coaster Tycoon, any sort of sim theme park where you're looking after a plot of land with a load of rides, you're looking after the staff and the customers. You've got shops to manage with what you're going to sell. You got the breakdown of roller coasters. All this, in its own way, is in Jurassic World Evolution.
Yeah, it is.
And I haven't played a sim game in a while. Properly. I mean, I didn't get on with City Skylines. That didn't have a lot of depth in it for me. And it was okay to play that, obviously, because that was on the Xbox Game Pass.
To be honest, I played that on the PC, and I quite enjoyed it. But it was very much a SimCity clone, but it managed to do it a bit better.
Yeah.
But I've always been a big SimCity fan as well.
Oh,
myself.
I played them all. Back in the day on some of the PCs I used to own, like SimCity, was it 2000, for example? Do you remember that one and you get the UFO attacks, don't you, and stuff like that? Yeah.
Well, I'll tell you what. I remember having SimCity on the Amiga and getting an accelerator card to put inside the slot in the Amiga 500.
Yeah.
To give me a faster processor than the 7.14 megahertz, and to give me an FPU, floating point unit, in order to be able to play that at a reasonable speed. Because you used to press a button and you used to have to wait about 30 seconds for it to do something, because the machine was so underpowered for the game.
Yeah.
And you had to buy this like £200 expansion that went into the expansion slot underneath in order to be able to play it.
Yeah. So this game, they give you, was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? There's 6 islands in this game.
Yeah.
You start off on Isla Matura, which offers a challenge with a partly built theme park, where you will start off with, is it about 3 million?
Yeah.
I think you started with, and you're limited to a few bits and pieces which you've got to unlock. And in the same idea that with Roller Coaster Tycoon, you're going to build this park up. You've got to manage it as best you can, keep it running, keep the customers happy, and
try not to let the customers get eaten. Well,
because what makes this difference? It's got dinosaurs, isn't it? I mean, come on, what isn't there not to like about this game?
Yeah.
I think I love the idea that you have these quests given to you by the security, the entertainment business, and what was
and
the
science.
third? And science. Thank you. And these quests help you build up money to earn to keep the park running, and keep you spending money to progress it to a 5-star rating, which is what you want to go for.
Yeah.
And as we know with Jurassic Park, it's all about DNA and putting dinosaurs together. Which, when you first start off, you get these dinosaurs, which are pretty weaklings, aren't they?
Yeah.
And it's
the die of the common cold.
Exactly. And when you progress, while you go out to the world, digging up fossils and then researching the fossils, gives you other DNA, which you can add to their DNA stream to make them a stronger and more fierce or tame dinosaur, as the case may be. It's so clever. You won't. If you're thinking you're going to jump in and have a T-Rex at the beginning, you're not. It's going to take you a while to get there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how far you've got, but I think the idea in this game is more to go through the different islands.
Yes.
So you're unlocking the islands as you go. Now, I think you've got to a stage where you've unlocked Island 2, haven't you?
I have, but I haven't gone to Island 2 yet.
No, I haven't. I didn't. I wanted to stay with this one island because I was earning quite a lot of money. And what's clever in this, if you're feeling that, the start of that park wasn't great for you, you can restart the island, but keep all your money and keep all the dinosaurs that you've researched and all the DNA you've researched. Which I think is really cool. I didn't know
you could do that.
Yeah, I didn't, because I thought I'm going to start again, because now I've got the hang of it. I'm going to go on a different route. So I restarted the island. You have that great cinematic event where you got the helicopter coming into the island with Jeff Goldblum doing the narration, which, having him in there, is top notch for me. Such a great actor, and obviously he has a bit of a quip about his time on Jurassic Park back in the day. And then you go into your menus, and there they are. All that stuff's still sitting there, which is smart. And for me at the moment, I've now unlocked what I think is the island which was for Jurassic Park, and it's a sandbox heaven, because what it is, it's unlimited money. So you can build that from scratch. There's nothing in there. It's completely just an area of woodlands and trees and hills and valleys, and you can build that to what you want, which I think might be. I don't want to do that yet. I might go to the second island, because I think because I've maxed out the island, as obviously you're aware, you go with one of the things you can do is you can build a research base, and from there you've got a base where they go on a helicopter and they go out doing digs for fossils. I can't find any more fossils now. I've exhausted where I can go in the world. Yeah. So I think what you need to do is you progress these different islands, which are probably going to open up more other areas to dig, which hopefully when you want to get that T-Rex that you're after, which is really going to take a little while, I think. I'm not quite sure, but I've not looked into to find out how this game progresses further, because I didn't want to know. But I just think it is so good. It really is. And if you're a dinosaur fan and a Jurassic fan, there's nothing not to like about this.
Yeah, and I love the fact that there's like a sub-bit where you can do gene splicing as well.
Well, yeah, that's it, because obviously when you find those fossils, and I found like snake, I've opened up in the research menus, I've opened up snakes, frogs, alligators and stuff like that. They all have different traits, and I've got a shark. Have you opened that? Have you got that one?
No. Yes.
And the shark is immune to, I think the shark was immune to colds. So putting that DNA strain in your character, in your dinosaur, will help him not get a cold.
See, I've got 100% pure Triceratops on the DNA.
Oh, okay.
Because I concentrated on mining on, or doing digs on the areas where the Triceratops were, and I built up 100% picture profile of the DNA.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I didn't have to do any splicing, because the first a couple of ones that embryos had tried to grow of that had failed.
Yeah, I had a couple of times where that happened. But I've had a few die on me.
Yeah, I have
as you do, and I like the idea that you can call out the AC if you go and build an ACU.
Yeah, call out a helicopter,
and they come and airlift it out at the park for you.
Yeah.
I just and have you noticed the little tweaks that you can do in this park that I've not seen ever in a sim? You can actually take hold of the Ranger car and
and drive around, and the ACU helicopter as well.
Yeah, and when you get if you've got like a few poorly dinosaurs, you can drive out. You can drive your park, go through your gates, get onto the, and you then become the Ranger with a sniper rifle, shooting the dinosaurs to give them what they need to cure them. It's just fantastic, absolutely fantastic. I haven't got the achievement yet for 25 kilometres?
Yeah, because you're on 8.26 kilometres, so you've got a long way to go. I've only driven 1.2.
Yeah, I was trying to do a few jumps because I got quite a few hilly bits. I was running into the customers, but I tried not to do that because I didn't know if it would give the park a bit of a bad rep. So I was trying not to do it.
Yeah, I don't know whether or not you've noticed as well, but on the because obviously it's a holiday resort park, you build a hotel.
Yes, I got that. Yeah,
but you also build restaurants, a quick food place, a clothing shop. Your gift shop.
I ended up doing, I think, 3 clothing shops because you get the choice of 3 different products.
Yeah.
So there's one for lunch boxes, a onesie, and was it a baseball cap maybe? So I had them in 3 different areas of the park, and the same with the restaurant because you can have different meals.
Yeah. Just
to give them a bit of variation. So I had a gift shop right beside where you enter when you go through the big Jurassic Park gate on the railway and it just comes down the stairs and they come straight in. I'm trying to think of it as you do these days. I've got a gift shop as soon as they walk into the park.
Yeah.
I like the idea that the scenarios you can get because obviously you've got to have power.
Yes.
And each power station will only give you so many power to work with what you've built.
Well, for a certain distance, then you've got to build a substation to power it up again.
Exactly. And I've done pretty well with that. I've got about 3 or 4 different power stations.
But you also have to research into increasing the power output and stabilising the power, because it kept coming up with the mission objective of adding, a power amplifier or whatever it was. And every time I went in, I was like, well, it's not there. Where is it? It's not there. And then I went into the research thing for buildings because I'd been researching like the fossil study and stuff like that. Went in there and said, "Oh, it's there," but it didn't teach you that.
No, I didn't.
Which was a bit frustrating. But so all I did was just did one power regulator to make it more stable and one power booster.
Because what I did was I took one power regulator out and put another one in to improve the output.
Yeah. And
then it was failing and it was going to give me a timer before it blew up. So I had to then get a ranger over there to fix it.
Yeah, they have to reboot it, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, it's class. And we've got to talk about the fencing.
Oh, yeah.
Now, what I did, the original fence you get on that first island, I've left it like that. And I thought, well, if I've got a lot of herbivores, which are just plant-based dinosaurs, I want to throw in there's one carnivore. So what I ended up doing is where you've got your research station, I built a load of fence around that with two gates. Mm-hmm. So if I've got a carnivore, he goes on the right hand side of the island because I've got to split down the middle of that whole area you've got given.
All right, okay.
And then the other side, I've got all the herbivores. And
in that one area, just segregated.
So I've cut it in half, and with 2 sets of gates coming out of the research centre, so I can open up either or depending on what what dinosaurs I've made, and they eventually will wander through the gate. I can close the gate, and they're in their own area then.
Yeah.
Because obviously you're going to get the carnivorous ones eating the others.
Yeah.
Which isn't good fun. Well, it is, but I wanted to keep. I had about 15, 20, maybe up to 20 dinosaurs on my area.
Yeah.
So when I split it up, they had on the right hand side. I got that carnivore, which is it's not like a mini T-Rex, isn't he?
It is.
That's how he sort of looked. But then I was putting them in there on their own, and they all started having fights. And then I'd come up with warnings of health warnings. So I'd go and drive me Ranger, get out my gun, and I'd start shooting them to keep them both alive as they were scrapping.
Yeah.
And I tell you one bit of pleasure. Have you done this yet? Have you got the goat coming out of the...
Oh, yeah. Didn't you see my tweet with the video of it? Because you have to put feeders out to feed the animals.
Yeah.
And obviously in herbivores, you just put a bush appears out of it.
That's right.
But with the carnivore one, you can either have dead meat or live meat. So I put a live meat one with a goat, and my son came through and was, what are you playing at that particular moment in time? I was zooming it up, and his goat was wandering around, and his T-Rexy sort of dinosaur came running up behind it, picked it up in its mouth, tossed it in the air, and swallowed it.
And what I've done is I've got some viewing galleries around the park.
Yeah, I've done that as well.
And what I did was I've got three of the goats in a row. So I drive around with me in my Ranger. I hit each one of them. So 3 goats come up at once.
Yeah.
And then it's a scramble for about 6 dinosaurs just to jump on and eat them. You just don't. It's just fun. Absolutely, it's hilarious. You know.
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean. I'll tell you what I did as well, though, because I had a herbivore escape.
Okay, that's interesting. I'll tell you my story in a minute. Go on, Carol.
Well, I've actually had herbivores escape twice so far.
Yeah.
Because I approach this in a different way to you. What I've done is, at one end of the park, I've put the carnivores.
Yeah.
And at the other end, where you first start off, I've put the herbivores.
Yeah.
So they're actually physically completely different, and the enclosure for the carnivores has got an electrified fence around it. Mm-hmm. The herbivores doesn't.
No, do you know what? I've actually, to be honest, I've left my fencing as the standard fencing.
Yeah.
And obviously, I don't know. What I was going to do was probably go around the whole park with a path, then put the fencing in so it picks up the path, so you can electrify each bit of it as you go around. Then put the little generators around at the same time, and then carry on that fence and the overhang of the wires all the way around. But I haven't got that far. I'll probably have a little go at that with the next island.
Yeah. But so what I did is sent the ranger in to do something. I think it was to replenish the feeders.
Yeah. In
the herbivore thing, and he was coming out, got to the gate opened up. He drove through and a dinosaur ran after him.
I always wait for the gate to close. So I stay there at the same time.
It was automatically managed.
The gate does close automatic. But what I did
no. What I mean is, I wasn't controlling the vehicle.
Oh, okay.
Because if you give them a task, they'll go off and drive and do it. You don't have to do it.
No, that's right. You can pinpoint. You can click 3 tasks at once.
Is it 3 or is it 5?
I've got up to 3 at the minute. So
it's up to 5, but
you can if you've opened it up in the tree. But I've got 3, so I give them 3 tasks at once.
Yeah,
to do.
Well, I left it on automatic, so the ranger came up. The ranger's a really bad driver as well. He drove into the gate before it opened, and then he drove through. And then like a herbivore version of a T-Rex comes blundering through, and then all of a sudden you can see all these people running in different directions because of this dinosaur that's wandering around. Fortunately, he never did any damage, so then I got the ranger, tranquilise the dinosaur, and got the ACU to lift him back into the enclosure. But then what I did, I learnt from that, so I put on an airlock, as it were, on the...
So you got double gates, yeah?
Yeah, so I put a double gate so that the ranger would go in, and then he'd be forced to stop again, and in the time that one gate opened, shut, the other gate would open, and then he goes through. So I'm going to do exactly the same thing with the T-Rex. But what I also intend to do with the T-Rex sort of dinosaur is put a second electrified fence around it.
What you can do, I'm assuming, because I haven't tried this yet, is that on the landscape part of the building, you can dig a hole.
Yeah,
I've
tried that. You can't just dig like a trench so that it'd fall down and never get back up. All it does is it just gives it a steep slope, but the dinosaur can get up, because I tried that.
Yeah, but I tell you what happened to me, right? Because I got my park to 5-star rating.
Yeah,
completely. So I had 5-star for dinosaur, 5-star for how fun the park was. So I was pretty chuffed with myself. I thought, well, what am I going to do next? I just want to keep it up at 5. So I went into the part where you go for fencing and feeders and stuff like that. And in there, the first thing you have, if you want to use it, I'm not sure if it was in for guests or not, but what you've got is you've got like a bunker. So I put these emergency bunkers. So I put 5
in case there's an outbreak.
So I put 5 of those around the park. So I had them scattered all over the place. And next thing I see, the fence is broken and all the carnivores are getting out. I thought, damn! So I hit the siren for all of the bunkers, and the sirens are going off, and these thousands of people are all running into these bunkers. It was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. And at the same time, then I had the rangers going out trying to knock out the carnivores. And my stars went from 5 stars to 2.5 at that point.
Yeah.
But it was brilliant. I cannot praise this game enough.
Yeah, it's an incredibly well thought out game.
Yeah, and what do you think of the graphics? Because when you zoom in and you can click a dinosaur, it's like some of the other games you have. I think it's really well put together for graphically as well.
Yeah, and it's really smooth and quick in terms of moving around as well.
Yeah,
and there's no screen tearing or anything like that. So
have you done a helicopter flyby around your park?
Yeah.
Because I just thought it's obviously you got the ACU part to pick up any dinosaur that's died in the park, but you can just pick up and ride the helicopter around the park and just fly around and see what you've got. It looks so cool.
Yeah, and you can't crash into anything either.
No, I did make sure that my high wires for the electric for the power were away from that area though, because I didn't want the helicopter crashing into the wires.
It would.
Well, okay. I just thought I'm thinking sort of hypothetical for myself here.
Yeah.
But yeah, anything else you want to say about it? Because I really can't.
No, I just thoroughly enjoyed it as a game, to be honest. But it was yesterday, and I was sort of like, I don't know what to play. I've only got about 1,000 games left to play, so I needed something new.
I think, as I say, because I've exhausted that park. The next part to unlock, I'm close to all 3, so I can't get any further.
Yeah.
So I'm assuming I need to start another park on the next island. That will carry over how far you've got in the game.
Yeah.
And I'm assuming you can open up some more stuff. Otherwise, at the moment, I can't do any more research.
No, you can only have one research centre per island.
Yeah, and I think the next island's research will go somewhere else. Because obviously, when you look at the map of the world, we've got some research in the UK, Spain, all sorts of places.
Yeah, but that are locked.
Yeah, and hopefully some of those are going to give us that Tyrannosaurus Rex that we're waiting for.
Yeah, well, that's a big one, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think you can make up scraps if you want. You could put another area there, put a couple of dinosaurs in, and go fight to the death and see what happens.
Yeah.
So,
well, what I'm sort of like thinking of doing is having one island that specialises in herbivores and one that specialises in carnivores.
Yeah.
Over time,
Yeah, but it's if you fancy a sim and you like dinosaurs in Jurassic Park, this is fantastic.
Yeah, definitely well worth it.
Yeah. Anyway, should we switch from gaming?
We shall.
And we should move on to movies and TV.
In quest of a better life,
Okay, so movie news. Now, Hayden, you got a couple of bits here you want to chat about?
I have, yeah. First off,
That one you're going to talk about. I did know about that one, and looking forward to how that's going to turn about, how that's going to come to a fruition in the next movie.
yeah. So the news is Chris Pine returns for Wonder Woman 2. So Chris Pine is officially back as in Wonder Woman 1984, and he's apparently the real Steve Trevor as well. As many viewers will recall, Trevor was sacrificed at the end of the first Wonder Woman, seemingly ending, his time in the DC universe after just a single film. However, after Screen Rant first reported that the actor was returning for the hotly anticipated sequel, the director, Patty Jenkins, confirmed the news that by sharing a picture of Steve Trevor looking lost in a 1980s era shopping mall.
Yeah.
So let's see how that's going to happen.
Is this going to be like the Captain America thing?
It might be. It might be.
Because he was sort of like frozen, wasn't he?
Yeah, but Steve Rogers was blew up.
Mm.
So, sorry, not Rogers. Steve Rogers was $6 million man. Steve Trevor was blown up.
No, that was $6 million man. No, he wasn't. Don't worry.
Oh, that was Steve Austin. Confused. Who was Steve Rogers then? Oh, yeah, Captain America.
Captain America, yeah.
It's the heat. That's what it is. Yeah. It's the heat.
I've just cleaned my glasses and they're steamed up again now. Jesus Christ. I'll take them off. I don't need to look at the screen to talk. It's
a blisteringly hot Sunday afternoon, and I think
you know what?
I'm starting to get cabin fever.
Well, it's that humid now. I think it's the Homer Simpson off the couch scenario.
Yeah.
When you're going to peel yourself off and there's a party who's left behind.
Yeah.
Anyhow, so I'm glad that Chris Pine's returning. He's a great character in the first Wonder Woman.
Well, I like Chris Pine anyway. I just think he's a good actor.
We love him as Captain Kirk, don't we?
We do. So do you want to do the second bit of news?
Okay, let me put my goggles on for this one.
Or do you want me to read it, seeing as I can see it?
Go on, you read it, because I tell you, they're in the right state. I can't read it properly with me. Go on, you go.
All right, so Joaquin Phoenix has a Joker movie to start filming in September. So the Joker prequel film is set to begin filming this September. Just days ago, it was revealed that the movie's budget would be $55 million and that DC hopes to begin production this fall with no less than 6 movies featuring the Joker that are presently in development. This is one that is likely to probably be most anticipated by fans. The movie is set to tackle the Joker's backstory as a failed comedian, which will likely draw at least some inspiration from Alan Moore's graphic novel Batman: The Killing Joke. So interesting, especially with Joaquin Phoenix as well, because he's older, and if this is a prequel to the was it Suicide Squad, wasn't it? So if this is a prequel to Suicide Squad, that means that the Joker would have been older in the past.
I mean, we know Joker's demise. We know how he brings around the bat, should we say?
Yeah.
With what happens there, which we've seen 1 billion times. I'm assuming, is this going to go up to that point? And will this film lead up to what will happen with Bruce's parents? I don't know.
I don't think it's going to link in with Bruce, because they did that in the Tim Burton movies where the Joker was responsible for killing his family, wasn't it?
Yeah, he did. Yeah,
but it's not. I don't think it in the normal storyline that's the case, because Bruce Wayne's parents were killed by someone entirely different.
Yeah, see, you're getting too many films here overlapping with stories that you want to keep it in a canon way.
Well, look at how many times has Spider-Man's origin story been told. 3?
Yeah.
4? Something like that. Superman, again, pretty similar. So, I don't know. To me, because
would you personally want to see a Joker movie like this? at the beginning of his career, or
Well,
because it's going to go from someone that's depressed and not working well in his job to being a psychopathic maniac.
Yeah, so that's just half the people I work with. Because we're all like that, I think. But to be honest, what I struggle with this is the fact that if this is going to be a prequel to Suicide Squad, Jared Leto, who played the Joker in Suicide Squad, is significantly younger.
Yeah, I mean, I think we don't have to worry about that too much.
Or is he actually? Because he was actually... He's only a few months younger than I am.
Yeah.
So... maybe he isn't. I don't know how old Joaquin Phoenix is.
Yeah.
As an actor. No, actually, Joaquin Phoenix is younger.
Okay.
He's 43, whereas...
But you can look younger, and you can see what they can do with visuals today and special effects to make anyone look younger or older.
I have to admit, though, I know that a lot of people didn't like Jared as the Joker. I thought he was all right.
No, he was okay. I mean, the film was all right.
Yeah, but as a Joker character...
They're doing a sequel to that as well, aren't they?
Yeah.
And again, to be honest, we're still overdosing in superhero movies. Please give it a break. I mean, I'd like the idea of a sequel to Wonder Woman. That's something a bit new. But we've got all this, a lot of the Marvel stuff.
Well, we've got Captain Marvel coming as well, haven't we? We've got Ant-Man and the Wasp coming out imminently, or is it already out?
No, I don't think it's out yet. But yeah, I've said this before, and I think we're overdosed. I think the Marvel side, DC, we've not had a lot more of, so I'm not so fussed on that side. Give us a bit more Batman any day of the week.
I think, to be honest, DC's better at TV, and Marvel's better at movies, with the exception of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D, which I think has been really, really good this season. Personally, yeah, but it's difficult, isn't it? It's just we're getting all these we're getting this saturation again, where it's going to get boring with I like to see a movie that's completely nothing to do with a superhero. But to be honest, we're not getting that many. It's not like we're really drowning it. It's just we've had years and years of them. We've had 10 years of the MCU.
Yeah, I know. We've had, but we're getting so many films every 6 months. Maybe we might get a bit of a break now.
Do you know what? I can cope with a superhero movie every 6 months. To be honest, that to me doesn't feel like, if it was a new superhero movie every month, that would feel like overload. But every 6 months, it's fine.
I mean, because we're getting two different sides. We're getting the Marvel and the DC. I mean, Justice League failed a bit, unfortunately. As much as I didn't mind it to a certain degree.
I still think that they'll pursue it though, because they want to prove that they're better than Marvel. And they're not the different to Marvel. The whole outcomes, the way that they do everything's very different. DC, with the exception of Superman, which is normally a very bright sort of character, DC's normally much darker than Marvel is. I think Marvel is a optimistic vision of superheroes, whereas
the dystopian world, this dystopian dark world of Gotham.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. There's a big difference, but anyway, such is life, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. So, cinema releases over the coming time. So we've got 4th of July. We've got the first Purge. I've not seen any of those movies, to be honest.
No.
5th of July, we've got Whitney.
Which is a documentary about Whitney Houston.
I was about to say, is it to do with Whitney Houston?
Yeah.
Bless her. 6th of July, we've got Uncle Drew, Terminal, In Darkness, Mary Shelley, which obviously is to do with Frankenstein, I should imagine.
Yeah.
Ideal Home and Swimming with Men.
Yeah, Ideal Home is, what do you call it, who plays Ant-Man.
Okay.
I can't remember his blooming name. Who was on Friends as well, who married Phoebe.
Okay.
Yeah. It's him. He's a gay man living with his husband, and he becomes responsible for a 10-year-old boy. And that's the story there. And Swimming with Men is about a middle-aged bloke who joins a men's amateur synchronised swimming team.
Yeah.
So, sounds riveting, doesn't it?
It does. Okay. Do you want to do the DVD release?
Yeah.
DVD, Blu-ray release?
DVD, there's not that much really coming out. There is the Doctor Who, the Collection Season 12, Blu-ray limited edition box set that's been released. And the other one, well, actually, my wife would say the most important one on this whole list would be Mamma Mia, the 10th anniversary edition. I can't believe that's 10 years old.
It's bad enough. I just off the back of that, I did see a bit of Graham Norton the other week.
Yeah, they're doing Mamma Mia, here we go again.
I know. and I was shocked when Cher came on, because she's in the sequel, and the girl looks like she's had so much plastic surgery now.
Yeah, but
she's 72, for Christ's sake.
I know.
I haven't seen the first one. I tell you, I still don't want to see James Bond singing.
Well, I was just thinking about that, because Pierce Brosnan, loved him as James Bond, my favourite James Bond. He is completely tone deaf. He's completely. He sounds like a goose farting in the fog.
So have you been strapped down to watch Mamma Mia?
Yeah, you know that bit in Clockwork Orange.
Yeah, when you got the eyeballs bursting out.
Yeah,
of the pins.
that was kind of like my son and my wife making me watch it, and I was having that sort of reaction. So I'm mentally scarred for the rest of my life. Even though I do love ABBA songs, but oh my god!
Oh god! Do you know what? Actually, I've got a couple of their albums here on vinyl.
Yeah,
so I did put one on the other day.
I actually have one on vinyl as well.
Yeah, there you go.
I do. And then another one, and this is one that we were talking about a few weeks back. Please, Sir, the complete Fen Street collection.
Ding ding.
Is being released on Blu-ray. Oh, not on Blu-ray, so on DVD. So that's quite a good one, but I don't think there's much else released in the next week that's of significant interest.
I know we'll probably briefly talk and we bring it in now, obviously, that you've picked up The Matrix.
Yes. Today, in a matter of fact.
Yeah. Now, I'm going to have to do this. I'm going to now talk about something else, but I'm going to have to, because I haven't got. It's just suddenly reminded me.
By the way, The Matrix is a true 4K movie.
Yeah, I will purchase it at some point. I did see that Die Hard's getting the 4K treatment.
Yeah.
And I've seen the box art for that. And it is available for pre-order, I think. Or it might even be out. I don't know. I'll have a look after we've done this I've been looking at the HMV website. Mm-hmm. Now, something else that might interest you, especially if you're about our age, HMV have got a pre-order on what they call the VHS collection. Have you heard about this?
No.
So what it is, you've got... I'll read up a few movies first of all. You've got The Thing. You've got Ferris Bueller's Day Off. The Breakfast Club. What else was there? Scarface. E.T., Back to the Future, Beverly Hills Cop. I think there was a couple more as well. There's probably about 10 of them. And what they've done they brought these. They come in Airplane. If you're looking now, you've seen the
48 Hours, Top Gun.
Yep.
The Breakfast Club, E.T. the Extra Terrible, Beverly Hills Cop.
Before we tell anyone else what we're on about, how do you like the idea of those?
Well, as long as they're not literal copies of VHS.
But so what you do, guys, what you get is you get the box art from the VHS original releases. Now, I owned every one of those on VHS, and I remember the box art and the Blues Brothers as well. I think they're there as well. Did I said that one or not? So you get the box art from the old VHS cartridge. Inside you get it comes out looking like a VHS cassette, but then you open it up, and in there you got the two DVD or DVD and Blu-ray, with a poster and a couple of cards in there as well. Mm. What do you think? Up for any of those?
It's different. Maybe one or two of them I might be quite interested in.
Well, you see, the thing is, with what DVD and Blu-rays I've got, there's only probably maybe one or two of those I don't actually own, which I'd probably go for.
Yeah.
Because I don't have Top Gun in any shape or form, even though I've watched.
I have that on Laserdisc.
Yeah, and actually, I don't own E.T. I know it's not one of your favourites, as if you know from other podcasts we've done. Scarface. I think I've got Scarface on Blu-ray or DVD as well. But yeah, that's a great idea to bring them out in that sort of VHS style collection.
Yeah, it's.
And I owned them all. Obviously, we're that age that we actually. I mean, I had a stack of VHS cassettes back in the day.
Oh, so did I. All mine.
I had one big. I had a big one wall full. You know, there was the Star Trek original series, because when they came out, I was buying them once a month.
Yeah, me too. I had them all on the VHS, and I bought them all on DVD.
Yeah, that was why there was that thing I was tweeting about with the thing that I had VHS, DVD, Blu-ray. Now we just need it in 4K. But it's just a great idea for if you check the HMV website, you can see them up there for pre-order.
Yeah,
I think they're doing 2 for £25. I think at the moment as well.
That's not bad.
But if any of those you don't own, it's just nice to have one of those to reminisce on those boxes that we used to have the cassettes in.
Yeah. I mean, the Breakfast Club. Do you have?
Yeah. And Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Oh, class. They were all great 80s movies.
Absolutely, definitely.
Okay, so let's just quickly run through the cinema charts. If I can read that with my goggles, I think I can just about do it. So the top 5 this week, we've got 5. We've got Solo: A Star Wars Story. 4, we got Deadpool 2. 3, we've got Hereditary, which I think my daughter's seen that. Said it was quite good. 2, Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. And at number 1, I'm not sure about this, but Ocean's 8.
That's a Sandra Bullock one.
It's the girlies edition.
It is. And to be honest, I hated Ocean's 11 and its successes, so this is not going to be one I'm going to be having any interest in seeing at all.
Because it's like the Ghostbusters scenario, isn't it? No disrespect to our female viewers and the actresses that are involved in these movies.
There are just some films that should never be remade because they were perfect the way they were. Ghostbusters was one of the examples. I actually watched part of that new Ghostbusters movie. It was awful. I switched it off.
I did actually watch it from start to finish. Because I was watching it with the women in the house, and they quite enjoyed it. It was all right. Let's put it that way. It was okay, but it ain't Bill Murray, is it? And Dan Aykroyd, is it?
It was awful. Well, it was Bill Murray because he was in it.
Just briefly as a. But it's just it's not. It's not having the original Ghostbusters there as we would like to have had.
I just think that there are some things at moments in time that you just shouldn't redo, like Back to the Future.
Well, as I've said, unless you've got a good script behind you, it's something you shouldn't do. It's just, well, I say that. Look at Kingdom Skull for Indiana Jones.
Yeah.
Not the best film in the world, is it?
No, and certainly the weakest one out of the indie movies.
I still call them a trilogy.
Yeah, the trilogy plus one.
Yeah, and the plus one, you never take your friend with you.
It was a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. It was a trilogy in 4 parts.
Yeah, exactly. So, Ocean's 8. I like the idea of it, but it's not. I'll probably end up seeing it on Sky at some point. I did like the other movies. I think the first. I can't remember. They were all different. I think I liked the first 2, but from then onwards it went a bit downhill, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. Should we look at what we've been up to this week with movies and TV?
Yep.
Right, I haven't got a lot written down, to be honest. So this is going to be off the cuff because we've been a couple of weeks now. So I did get to finish The Arrow on TV.
Yeah.
Oh boy, did I enjoy the way that panned out.
Is that the last one, or is it just the last of this season?
The last of this season.
Right. Okay.
So they've all been recommissioned for this year.
Yeah.
Next season. And I'd already seen The Flash and how that panned out.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool. And Arrow was taking a bit of a grind to get there. Because there's so many ways you could have killed that dude. And in the end, he probably escaped as well, so...
Don't give away the story.
Well, it's finished ages ago, so if you haven't seen it by now, it's your own fault.
Well, I haven't seen it. But then again, to be honest, I also haven't seen the end of season 4 or 3.
Yeah, but Arrow took a bit of a nosedive, but now it's been good.
Yeah.
Have you not seen the end of Arrow then? Yeah, you haven't.
No.
Okay, because there is a shock in there. I'm just going to put it there. That's all I'm going to say.
Okay.
And it was sad. Okay.
So someone died.
Yes, they did.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that was pretty cool. Really, TV. I don't think I've been watching a bit of football, obviously, which is exactly what we're going to be talking about in this show.
Yeah, because there's been some sort of event where some people get together and kick a ball about, haven't they?
Yeah, it's been pretty good.
Yeah.
I'm enjoying it. What it does, it wrecks all the wives of this world because all their scheduled soaps are throw out a sink.
It doesn't wreck my wife. She watches it.
Yeah.
And I go,
But then-
woohoo, computer time.
I think most of the TV shows that I've been watching, they've all come to pretty much an end.
Yeah, I'm getting to that point as well.
Modern Family's finished. Big Bang Theory had finished. The one that hasn't yet, I think I've got a couple more episodes to go, is Young Sheldon, which we're enjoying immensely. The guy that plays the Young Sheldon is pretty good actually, and there was an episode this week where he went to see this professor at another college. And I was racking my brain. I was listening to him talking in the show, and I looked at his face. And I remember his face looks familiar, but it's his voice more.
Yeah.
So I googled him obviously on the Internet Movie Database, and he's the voice of Rex in Toy Story. So I don't know if you check him out.
Yeah, I know who you mean. Yeah.
So, but yeah, no, that's pretty cool. TV's a bit thin. There's a couple of bits on Netflix I've been meaning to watch, but again, it's enough time in the day to do anything these days at the minute. There's a couple of movies I've noticed on there that I've been wanting to watch.
Yeah, the guy Wallace Shaw, who you're talking about, he was also Rom
in
Deep Space Nine. Not Rom.
Yes.
Not Rom. Sorry, he was the Grand Nagus.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it. Yeah, he was. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's a couple of movies I watched this week actually. This won't interest a lot of you guys, but with the imminent release from Waxwork of their repressing of the soundtrack to Logan's Run, which is coming out this week, I thought I'd go and watch the film. And there's talk of a remake in the back burner at the moment for this film.
Yeah, this is the Michael York version, isn't it?
Yes, that is.
Yeah.
With Jenny Agutter.
Yeah. Classic movie. I actually have that on Blu-ray.
You do? I don't actually own it. I probably will get a copy at some point, but I sat and watched it. It's very old at the point that the sci-fi that you get in here is very much 70s sci-fi.
Yeah, it's 70s future retro.
It is. It doesn't age well as some films do, but I still enjoy it.
Well, it's a classic movie, isn't it?
With the idea that the premise of this film is that once you hit 30, you go into carousel, which means, as far as you're concerned, you think you're going to be reborn. But in fact, you're murdered. And the police, which are called Sandman, track down people that won't go to carousel thinking they don't want to go through it.
Yeah, but they don't sing the song Mr. Sandman.
No, they certainly do not. And so what? And Michael York's character gets involved and hears about this group in the background that are trying to stay away from carousel because they believe that you're actually murdered.
Yeah,
which is where Jenny Agutter comes in. Even Farrah Fawcett-Majors is in this film briefly as well. Don't forget. And yeah, it's a really good film. The soundtrack's incredible because I like the idea of bringing this orchestral music, but again, like you do with Forbidden Planet, you get this science fiction style electronic beat that you get to a film to give it that sense of. Cause I think this film's based in like 23. It's based in the like 23rd, 24th century. So it's not exactly Star Trek, but but you're in these contained domes as if the rest of the world doesn't exist.
Yeah, and don't forget there was also the TV series as well of this.
Yeah, do you know I had a little Google of that this morning?
Yeah,
and what we had, obviously, the TV series I think was about 1977.
No, it was earlier than that.
Was it earlier? I think. Well, anyway. I noticed there's not a lot on YouTube. I was trying to find a full episode, but I couldn't find one.
Again, I've got it on DVD.
Yeah, see, good man.
First episode was aired in 1977.
There you go. So I wasn't far out.
Oh, sorry, I thought you said 97, sorry.
No, I did not. I said 77.
Sorry, I misheard you. I thought you said 97. I was thinking, no, it was well before then. I was a little kid.
It's funny. Do you remember there was like I think it was an android character.
Yeah, there was. Who was dressed in green, and they went around with like a car, didn't they? Yeah.
Now he was in The Thing in 1982.
Yeah.
Because he was the guy that was strapped to the chair and asking, and once they'd done the blood test, can you tie me out of this hecking chair?
Yeah, Donald Moffat.
Yeah. And he don't look any different then. If you look at a screenshot from 77 and look at him now, I don't think he's changed a lot. He's aged pretty well. So
he's 87 years old.
Has he really? Jesus Christ, he's older than Cher. Blimey.
Yeah. And God's not as old as Cher.
Yeah, and another film I watched this week. Not that I need to go back and probably watch. Should watch the trilogy really, but. I sat and watched Mad Max 2.
I recently watched all of those.
Have you seen them all, yeah?
Yeah, well, I've got them on Blu-ray.
Yeah. So, it's nice, actually, to just watch the Australian version of these movies. Because I don't think the third one counted, but the first two came out with it.
Yeah, Beyond Thunderdome I didn't enjoy as much.
It's all right. It's okay, but I the first two are brilliant.
Yeah.
Mel Gibson, it's great. It's a great story, and they may seem a bit cheesy nowadays, but I still love them.
Yeah.
Maybe we should do a show dedicated to Mad Max one day.
Maybe. Might be an idea.
Same way we should do one for probably Back to the Future as well. We haven't done it yet. We know.
Well, we were always on about we were going to do one about time travelling movies, which obviously that would feature very heavily.
Yeah.
Do a special on that.
So Mad Max that is a great. It seems very feminine, that movie. From some of the characters in that film, where you got these gangs in the wasteland that are trying to take this fuel depot in the desert in Australia. And the classic scene of the little boy with the metal boomerang.
Yeah.
And when he throws it, the guy tries to catch it, and all his fingers come off.
Classic.
Oh, what a great movie that is. But other than that, really, I've been pretty quiet. I should. I've got a couple of films actually on Sky to watch.
Yeah.
Which are more recent. I've got The Snowman, that's just come out. Which is, I think, a psychological thriller type movie.
Mm-hmm.
Set somewhere in the snowy somewhere. Hence the title of the film. So I've got a couple of movies to sit and watch. Once I get off call, I'll be able to concentrate.
Yeah.
But how about yourself? Without giving away spoilers on one of these, I can see in your list.
Okay, well, I've watched season 5 of Arrested Development because that was recently released on Netflix. So obviously this is one that I've spoken about before. It's about the Blue family who are housing developers, and it's just a comedy sort of thing. And Netflix have bought the show back from the dead because it was cancelled a few years back. Yeah. It's nice to see the characters again. Ron Howard does the voiceover and directs the show. And he's just absolutely brilliant on some of the stuff that he comes out with. And I love the fact that there was a self-referential bit to the new Solo movie coming out as well.
Oh, really? Was there?
Yeah, there was.
Oh, I love Ron Howard. He's great.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it was just such a good laugh to see those characters again on a show that, to be honest, I only found a year ago, but I was so gutted when I got to the end of it. It's got not Nathan Bateman. I forgot what his name is. It's.
I know who you're on about. Yeah. Quickly typing here.
Yeah, quickly typing in. It's Jason Bateman. Sorry, that's who it is.
Yeah.
And Jeffrey Tambor as well, and Will Arnett. So there's a few famous names in there. So it's a really good show. It's well worth having a watch. I started watching A Good Place again as well. Just getting ready for the run up to hopefully when it starts to show again in September-ish. Supposedly, but I don't know. What else have I watched? Also, I got Black Panther on 4K Blu-ray. Looked absolutely superb on there, as you would expect. Total eye fest. A good story, but it's not as good as I remember it. To be honest, when I came out of the cinema, I thought that's the best, Marvel movie so far. And now that I've watched it again, and especially after seeing Infinity War and stuff like that, I'm sort of like, yeah, it's a good movie.
Yeah.
But I think it's probably maybe carried away with a little bit of the hype that went with that as well. But certainly worth a watch. And I quite like the way that Martin Freeman's character transformed from the last film he was on, where, when he was on Civil War, where he was a bit of an arrogant person, to being quite different on this one, but he changes about halfway through the movie. And it's quite nice to see, his character change in that respect.
Yeah.
TV-wise, I've really been enjoying Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. The last, I think, few seasons of that, they've really hit the ground running with it. So the team's returned from the future now with a view to stop the destruction of Earth. Hydra's returned into the story, and they're really taking some of the characters in very, very different directions, but based on events that happened in previous seasons. So it's really quite nice to see this development that's going on, because, evidently this has been renewed, but only for half a season next year.
Yeah.
And I understand that events in the next Marvel Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. season will take place after events of Infinity War 2. So hopefully it'll address any of the concerns that anybody who's seen that movie will know what they are, that I'm not going to tell you because I know you haven't seen it.
No, we move on swiftly. I've got something to talk about Netflix actually when you finish talking about something.
All right. Westworld has been the other one.
I've got that all in my box to watch.
Oh, you're going to be in for a treat.
I got as far as probably about episode 2 or 3 of the first series.
Yeah.
But I'll probably end up watching them again. Probably do this on my own. I don't think it's going to be what the missus would probably want to watch.
Well, to be honest, it's not all of the nudity in that there was in the first season.
Oh, okay.
If that's what, she might have been a bit sensitive about.
A little bit. Probably a little bit, but I feel Western and the way it is. So I don't know. I've kept away from spoilers, so I don't even know where the show goes. But obviously, there's different characters which you go on their journey. Yeah,
and to be honest, it's a very intricate sort of story because there's a lot of facets to it. And if you have a poor attention span, you're probably not going to really get what's happening to each one of the characters. Like Bernard and everyone else that's in there. So it's best to watch it when you can concentrate so that you follow the story.
Yeah. Okay.
But really, I think it's better than the first season, and that was excellent as well. I think it's one of the best shows on TV at the moment, to be honest. And then another great show that I've really, really loved this season has been Humans. So it's the second season of the TV show Humans. Where there was it was set in the now, but everybody has android helpers who are sentient.
So we're talking Detroit Most Human here, aren't we?
We are.
Have become human.
we are, but they don't have emotions. But there's a group of them, a small group, who do. And there's the creator of all of these androids originally. There's his son, who is half human and half android, because he had to be saved by his father, and he did that by putting implants from the androids in him and stuff like that, because otherwise he would have died. But there was an awakening in all of the green-eyed androids at the end of the last season, because the group who've got emotions released code. And then they all awoke with this, and it's about the after effects of that, and how people have turned on a lot of the androids, and some people don't, and some people like are having relationships with them, and there are groups of androids in certain locations, and how the government's afraid of them, and how people are, and the different swaying in the media, whatever. And there's all this that's the main, the background story to the main story, which is going on with the main characters. And it's got the woman off the Maltesers advert and the It Crowd on there. She's one of the main stars of the show. Absolutely fantastic. Really, really, really well worth watching. So, and you can watch it on obviously 4OD as well. So just get on over there and have a look. Yeah.
So before we move on to some our debate with our movies, I want to cast your mind back to one of your favourite shows on Netflix, which is The Good Place.
Yeah.
Now, you haven't forgotten about that show kicking in the background, have you?
What did I say about a couple of minutes ago?
Yeah, I know.
I've been watching it again.
Yeah. Now, I'm hearing that season 3, we're going to get that around September the 28th.
Yeah, that's what I said, because that's why I've started watching it again.
Yeah. So I'm going over old ground, because I made some notes on this. Now, I've heard a bit of... It's not really going to be spoiler to know the beginning, because we know how it ended.
Yeah. Well, unless you haven't watched the season.
And if you haven't, then just
you're probably not interested.
I'd say look away now, but you're listening. No, anyway. So I think from what I'm hearing, they're going to give them a second chance on Earth.
Right. So they're resurrected.
Yeah, but what they're doing is we're still going to get to see the other characters that you think won't be around then if they're on Earth.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see how that pans out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that, to be honest.
I think America's going to get it first. We may get it a day later or something like that. It might even be the similar. Yeah. The way Star Trek came out.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm looking for this from the Netflix side. That's what I'm really looking forward to at the minute.
Yeah, I am as well, which is sort of like why I thought I'm just going to watch it all again just to get back up to speed with where it was.
Yeah, well, I've got it set up on my phone again properly since I've changed phones. So what I can do is I can download all the shows on my phone.
Yeah.
And then watch at my heart's content at work and that.
Yeah, because your missus liked this as well, didn't she?
She actually adored it. It was one of those shows where let's watch the next one.
Yeah.
And just the way as we know, the twists and turns of that show.
It's good family viewing because my son loves it as well. He absolutely, in a matter of fact, he went for about 4 months where that's basically all he watched. He just kept watching it over and over again.
Yeah. So anyway, let's move on to this week's debate.
There was something missing.
So what we decided to do was that we had 2 wins in the vote on Facebook. So this week we're going to do the second one.
Yeah, 2 exactly equal wins as well.
Yeah, don't get that very often.
No, but by the time we totted up the Twitter questions and the Twitter votes and the Facebook votes, it was exactly the same number for both.
Yeah. So we're going to give you a top 10 list of our favourite movies. Now this can change with how you feel, should we say? So sometimes, because we've done some top 10s before, but you're going to probably see the same ones as being number one if you know us well enough. Anyway, should we? So, what's your number 10? Because I can't. Do you want to say I can't see his list? By the way,
yeah.
Mine is on a post-it note in software mode on the PC, so I'm just looking at that list. So it's not in our show notes, so we don't know what we're going to see as much as we can probably guess.
My number 10 film is from 1993, and it's called My Life, and it stars Michael Keaton and Nicole Kidman. And
you watched this recently, I remember, when we did a show previous, and I think you mentioned it.
Yeah, it's based on a true story about a guy who gets cancer and tries to, or terminal cancer, and he tries lots of ways in order to heal his cancer, and so he doesn't die. Yeah. And in the meantime, his wife, who's played by Nicole Kidman, becomes pregnant, and he starts recording video blogs, as in VHS recordings, talking to his child, and it's things like, this is how you shave. You don't shave side to side, with the blade this way because it'll cut your face. You shave down, and just the type of things that you would do with your child, but just done to video. And, obviously he dies near the end of the film. But it's after the birth of his child, if I remember rightly. So he does get to see his child before they die. But that was, that's that film. It's an incredibly good, incredibly powerful movie. Yes.
Actually, mine's not in... if you say powerful, and for you, my top number 10 film is, because back in 1986... when I walked out of this movie, I felt so depressed, but I thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And this is Oliver Stone's Platoon, which was back in the mid '80s. You had a lot of Vietnam movies come out.
Yeah.
This one with Charlie Sheen, and it was his story of going to Vietnam War.
This was the one that really made Charlie Sheen, wasn't it?
It probably did in a way. Tom Berenger was in it, and William Dafoe was in it with the infamous screenshot of him on his knees with his hands in the air, if you remember that.
Yeah.
Thoroughly enjoyed it. There's a great soundtrack with a lot of the old tunes from that era. There's a sort of feel good to it, but it's just a sad time in America's.
It is. It is.
I don't know what you can say about Vietnam. It was just a bad time, full stop.
Yeah, I wasn't going to say anything about Vietnam, but what I was going to say is, considering how often alike we are, when we are miles apart, we are miles apart. And
God!
Absolutely loathe this film. I switched it off. I couldn't bear it. Thought it was so...
I could have put any of them. I could have put in there Full Metal Jacket, which is a fantastic movie. I could have put Apocalypse
Didn't like that
Now.
either.
Apocalypse Now. Actually, Charlie Sheen's in that, and even Harrison Ford's in it for a cameo. And The Deer Hunter with Robert De Niro. Those probably were the top ones.
Oh, The Deer Hunter. Yeah, I like that one.
That came out,
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just a film that stuck with me, and it won 4 Oscars, to be honest, as well. So it ain't a bad film.
I just didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
But if that's what you like, that's what you like.
Oh, that's it. But yeah, not everything's horror and scary as a lot of our movies can be. But
yeah.
Okay, so what's your number 9 then?
My number 9 is 2001: A Space Odyssey from 1968.
I nearly put this in because I love this movie.
I do. It's one of my all-time favourite movies, and I've read all of the books as well, right up until 3001.
Yeah.
Arthur C. Clarke, great author. Loved the Rama series that he did as well. I really wish he'd make those into movies. Yeah. But this predated Star Wars by nearly a decade. Stanley Kubrick was the director for this.
He was, yeah.
And it was the first time, really, that I can recall a movie accurately depicting spaceships and travelling through space, and the fact that you didn't actually have sound in space. and things like that, because
people
there's
forget
no air
people
to
forget
carry
that.
the sound.
Exactly. People forget this in science fiction, don't they?
Yeah.
And when you're, I know it doesn't make good movies if you don't have sounds, space battles, but you wouldn't hear anything, would you?
No, you wouldn't, because there's no ability to carry that sound wave.
Because as Alien says, in space, no one can hear you scream.
Exactly. But I absolutely loved the film. It is a slow burner of a movie, but the whole thing of the fact that the onboard AI of the Discovery, which is an amazing looking ship, it's like a ball with a spine.
Yeah.
It is very much what you would expect. In the 60s, what spaceships would look like in the future. A very impractical design, I do think. That antenna halfway down, you've got to go into a pod. Open a pod, please. Bay doors, please, Hal, and all that.
Yeah.
But I absolutely loved this movie, and it was such a slow burner, and it had such a depth to the story in terms of what it was suggesting about human life being brought along from apes.
Because that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, the infamous beginning of the movie with the apes development of bashing the bone, but then they're seeing this lump of something from space, sitting on their afternoon cup of tea.
The monolith.
Yeah, exactly. But it's such a visual treat, this movie.
It is, and also the music in it as well, because you've got like the Blue Danube where it's coming into doing the dock, and that is so classic, and that's on Elite as well.
I know. I've got the soundtrack, and it's all and it's all classical music, and it's brilliant.
It is.
And actually, just going back, thinking about some people you don't realise that's in it.
Leonard Rossiter.
Yeah, and Ed Bishop from UFO.
Yeah.
And not this guy is going to make much difference to us, but there was someone called Bill Weston who was an astronaut, but he actually plays a stormtrooper in Star Wars.
Yeah.
It's very clever because they try to make it realistic because back in the day, the people that flew you around the world in America was Pan Am.
Yeah.
That was their main. You watch a 60s Bond movie and it'd be a Pan Am aircraft from America to London or whatever. But that was the space, that was the travel, wasn't it? Pan Am was the one that had the sort of a space shuttle.
Yep.
In their thinking at the time. Very good. As I said, I'd love to say there's an imminent 4K release coming out, which should be jaw-dropping. I
can't wait for that, to be honest, because that'll be taken from the 70mm film as well. Yeah. So that captures beyond 4K resolution, so it should be a true 4K movie.
It will be, and this is. Do you know what? I've gotten so many times. I might even actually dig my Blu-ray out and watch it again some point. It's a visual, as I said, it's a visual feast. It really is, and if you like science fiction.
I'll tell you what, because it goes back as well to the old movies where they used to have intermissions in films. Do you remember that?
Jig, I've got to say something now. This is really weird. I don't know what sort of telepathic path we were on half the time. But I was thinking about that this afternoon.
Yeah.
I was just sitting here listening to the music, and I was doing some tweets for film stuff and whatever and that. And there's not often I can remember two movies I went to see at the cinema where there was like an intermission halfway through the film.
Yeah.
One was The Towering Inferno, but it was a long movie anyway.
Yeah.
So for that movie of the burning, The Towering Inferno with a lot of 70s and 60s stars in that, and another one, which have I got it in my list? I haven't actually, which probably would be sometimes. Was Ghostbusters.
I don't remember Ghostbusters having it, but certainly 2001 does.
Yeah, it did for me when I went to see it. When I went to a cinema in Henley to see that.
Yeah.
When it came out back in the day, and the cinema there, I think it was the Regal, and it's a very old one. So it's one of those cinemas where you used to have the organ that comes out the ground.
Yeah.
And when we got to the point of the film where they're talking about the idea that about the dead and everything else, and the tower in New York where it's like Spook Central City and what we're talking about, and they're driving over the bridge probably from Queens back to the other side to New York, and that was where the film had a break for ice creams. It's crazy.
Well, I'll tell you what, I've got this on DVD and Blu-ray, and the DVD
has the intermittent break
because it's a collector's edition. I had it on with my wife. What's that for? She said, "Well, it's like movies.
You can go make a cup of tea.
Goes back to 1968, so it's that. So what I need you to do is dress up in a French maid outfit, put a square box in front of you over your legs, put some ice creams in, and then come and offer me an ice cream." Funnily enough, it was something like "Make Love and Travel" was the response, but
yeah, swing on that one.
Yeah, but. No, it's a brilliant film. Love that film. So what's your number 9?
So, again, because this isn't going to probably interest you, we're going back to 1981. And this movie actually was one of the films in the VHS cassette days. This film got banned. And this is a film from Sam Raimi called The Evil Dead.
I was just about to say, is this The Evil Dead?
We're going to say Raimi.
I loved that film.
Oh, did you? Oh, did you like? No, we went about the first one. So the second one ended up being more of a comical twist to it.
Yeah.
But the first one was dead scary. And it was, the days of Cabin in the Wood.
Yeah.
Cabin in the Wood. It was that in a different time scale.
Yeah. No, I like that film. As a matter of fact, I've recently got on iTunes Ash vs. the Evil Dead because it was $4.99 for the whole season.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's a great film. The idea of a tree raping a woman, well, I don't know where that come from. I don't know what it was on when he was thinking about that one. But that I think, but that's what gave it that banned point. I think at the time back in those days.
I think it probably was because it's not that scary, to be honest.
No, I think it's a sort of film. If you're sitting in the dark, and a lot of people don't do this with movies. I love to just sit in the dark and have a good old film on.
Yeah.
And it's got that eeriness. I mean, even the second one, when you sit, because I think the first one was when you had the girlfriend that got possessed and her eyes turned white.
Yeah.
And at one point, you got someone with a pencil digging in someone's ankle. You remember that?
I don't remember that, to be honest.
Oh, you need to rewatch it. But it's I think if we didn't have Sam Raimi, a lot of films of today wouldn't have turned up.
I think it's one of those films that's considered to be a bit of a video nasty, isn't it, really?
Well, yeah, because it was banned at one point. When VHS cassettes were coming out. I mean, that alongside a few others, Zombie Flesh Eater is the one that springs to mind, got banned.
Yeah.
And I Spit on Your Grave, another one I watched at the time, that was banned as well. So this was all video nasties, early 80s style. But yeah, great film, well worth. I think the remake is okay. It's all right, but you can't beat the original for what it is.
No,
pretty good.
I must admit, I like the humour in the second one better, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I know. Do you know? I've never seen the third one.
I have. Army of Darkness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's just going off the train a bit. That was a bit weird and wacky, but it is a good film. And if you fancy a bit of 80s nostalgia, that's one definitely to watch.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, number 8. What have you got?
Going forward to 2009, Moon.
Okay. I don't think I've actually got this on my box to watch, but I've never seen it.
Yeah, Sam Rockwell. It's basically he's a lone person on the moon whose job is to maintain equipment while the moon's being mined.
Yeah.
The surface of the moon. His only company is an AI who's got the voice of Kevin Spacey.
Mm-hmm.
And some weird stuff happens, and his life's turned upside down as a result of it. And a really good, very well acted film, to be honest, because he's just getting towards the end of his 3-year contract on the moon.
Yeah.
And then he has an accident, and then all sorts of things go wrong. So really, really is worth watching. Very much 2001-ish, but without being too... it's not... The problem's not the AI, it's something else that goes wrong. But, wow, really good film. I think there's about 6 people in it in total. There's not many actors. It's probably the most underpopulated movie ever. But, yeah, well worth watching. Well worth watching.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so swiftly moving on, we're going to probably skip number 7.
Well, what's your number 8?
Oh, number 8, sorry. Okay, so 1978. So we've gone back a bit in time here.
Yeah.
So this is the second film from Giorgio Romeo, which is Dawn of the Dead.
Right.
And out of a lot of the zombie films we've had over the years, this one is still close to my heart. So as we know, a lot of people that do know this movie, it's set in the time of the zombie outbreak and apocalypse, and coming together from different characters who end up barricading themselves in a shopping mall.
Yeah.
And it goes from there with a few twists and turns.
Classic movie.
It is, and this is the one I picked up recently on eBay. I got the American DVD Ultimate Edition release, which then I purchased an actual cheat remote to put my Blu-ray player into Region 1. So I don't know if I've ever chatted to you about this.
We did have a chat, yeah.
Okay, it's been such a while. So I've got 3 different versions. I've got the Italian version, I've got the American release, and I think there's another release as well. But I love this movie. It's one of the... I mean, people that may watch a zombie film now and watch this will see these zombies are a bit white-faced, the blood's a bit more theatrical, not so realistic maybe. But the gore can be pretty realistic at points. I think it's one of the classic zombie films that we've had over the years for me. There was this trilogy. So we had Night of the Living Dead, Dawn of the Dead, and Day of the Dead. Day of the Dead's pretty good as well, but I do prefer this one, which was, again, this is another one that was remade.
Yeah.
And when they remade it, the zombies could run fast.
Yeah.
Where in this film, they were a bit slow on their feet and they sort of limp and groan. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, without these ones, you wouldn't have had things like 28 Days Later and whatever as well.
Well, you wouldn't have had Shaun of the Dead if it wasn't for Dawn of the Dead.
No.
I'm telling you for now. Because actually, some of the soundtrack from this, which was by Goblin, the Italian band, was actually used in Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah. It was.
So, but yeah, really good movie, that one. I was jumping to number 7, but what was your number 7?
1998 film, and it's called Dark City.
Okay.
So, John Murdoch, who's the main character, works in a strange hotel to find that he's wanted for a series of brutal murders. The problem is he can't remember whether or not he's committed the murders or not. And he's convinced that he's gone completely mad. He seeks help to unravel this, and he stumbles upon a fiendish underworld controlled by a group of almost omnipotent beings, collectively known as the Strangers, who change people's memories and put different memories in different people and reset the world all of the time.
It sounds like, I don't think I've actually seen this, but it sounds like a few other movies I can think of.
Oh no, this is very much its own thing, and really, really well worth watching. One of my favourite films. It stars Jennifer Connelly, Rufus Sewell, Kiefer Sutherland, William Hurt, and Richard O'Brien.
Oh, okay.
Seriously, I think you would love this movie.
Yeah. I'll have to make a note of that one. It's one to have a look out for.
Yeah.
Well, I'll be able to pick it out on Sky or something like that. I wonder if I could. How old did you say it was again?
98.
Okay, so I should have to look for my avenues of picking up films to see what it is, where it's available.
Yeah, no, definitely watch this. You will love it.
Okay. Number 7, I'm going to skip my number 7 because we already talked about it earlier on, because that was Logan's Run.
Okay.
Well worth a watch. I'm looking forward to picking up that soundtrack at some point.
Yep.
So number 6, what have you got?
I have V for Vendetta. I've actually quickly substituted it because when you were talking, it just reminded me of it, because I was going to have Raiders of the Lost Ark in here.
Yeah.
And I thought, actually, no, this 2006 movie, I much prefer V for Vendetta than the Raiders. I like the Raiders films.
I mean, if we did another top 10 in about 2 weeks' time, it might change a bit. I mean, because I don't think, actually, just looking in here, I haven't got a Raiders movie in here, which I probably should do. But again, it's like everything.
Yeah, I haven't either. No, I've taken it out. But
yeah,
Raiders and 1 and 3 were the ones that I liked. 2 I didn't like. 4 I didn't like.
Temple of Doom? No?
Yeah, I didn't like Temple of Doom.
Well, I'll chat about that for hours, because I was playing that this morning, actually. Yeah. So, but yeah, we'll have to do a Raiders podcast.
Yeah, but V for Vendetta. So it's following a world war. London is a police state occupied by fascist government.
Yes.
And a vigilante known as V, played by Hugo Weaving, uses terrorist tactics to fight oppressors in the world, which he now lives. And when V saves a young woman named Evie, played by Natalie Portman from the Secret Police, he discovers an ally in his fight.
Yeah, you've got to say quickly though, because as we mentioned it earlier, Hugo, is it Weaving's surname, isn't it?
Weaving, yeah.
Yeah, I could do his impersonation of just Mr. Anderson, because he was in The Matrix, wasn't he?
Mr. Anderson.
And he was in Lord of the Rings stuff as well.
He was. He's been in some of the best movies, definitely.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's my number 6. Brilliant movie.
Mine. I'm going to go back to 1975 now. How old was I then? Oh God, I would have been. Let me think.
11.
I would have been 11. Yeah, 11. And I went to see this in the cinema, and I think it's the only time I've ever seen my mum jump out of her chair.
Mm-hmm.
And this, of course, is the second movie from Steven Spielberg, which gave us what we call the summer blockbuster, and this will be Jaws.
Yeah.
And still to this day, this is one of those films that will always be up in my list. I never get bored of it. I know the script inside out. I know the music inside out. But it's just a film I just adore so much. For the whys and whats of, lucky enough that they did want the shark in there to be in the film more.
Yeah.
But with the music and the way they did it, I think for the better that Bruce broke down a few times, being the name of the shark.
Mm-hmm.
It was a fantastic film. We can say what we like about the sequels, because there's been a few, but none of them have a patch on the original.
Yeah.
For me, I tell you what, I know exactly where I was, and when I saw this in a cinema in Maidenhead, which is now knocked down. And those days, you used to phone up to listen to an answer phone machine to tell you what was on at the cinema.
Yeah.
Do you remember those days?
I do.
And if you didn't have a newspaper showing you the times, and we went there in a taxi because my dad broke his arm, and we had to queue around the whole of the cinema to get in. It was just, when Jaws came out, that was like probably the way Star Wars went for people going to the cinema. It was just incredible.
Yeah. I do.
Fantastic film. So, what have you got next?
1997.
Mm-hmm.
The Fifth Element.
Oh, fantastic movie.
Yeah. 23rd century, New York cabbie, Corbin Dallas finds the fate of the world is in his hands when Lilu, played by Mila Jovovich, falls into his cab, as she's the embodiment of the fifth element and needs to combine with the other four elements.
Do you think it might as well be John McClane that she's falling?
It might as well be, but it's got, Ian Holm on there. I think it was the first time we were introduced to Chris Tucker as well as Ruby Rod, and there was also Gary Oldman as Zorg.
Yeah, there was some very outlandish costumes in that, wasn't there?
Yeah, well, that was Jean-Paul Gaultier, wasn't it?
It was indeed, yeah. And
it was Eric Serra who did the music, and it was directed by Luc Besson, who also did... I forgot it.
Valerian recently?
The City of 1,000 Planets.
Oh, I love that film. But yeah, no, it's a great film. It's worthy of anybody's list.
Yeah. Definitely. Brilliant film, and it's such a visual treat as well, and it's a great story. It's not something that you would take too seriously. It's just an enjoyable romp of a movie.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so what are we up to now? I've lost count.
Number 5, what's your number 5?
So my number 5 is going to... we talked off air. I think 1982 is one of the best years for movies.
Yeah.
So I've had to pick one from... I've got 2 from 1982 in this list.
Yeah.
But the first one I'm going to put in there is John Carpenter's The Thing.
Okay.
And when this came out, and not really realising at the time, because I adored this from day one, that it didn't really do well as films go.
It's a cult classic.
It is. There's nothing wrong with this movie. There's nothing I'd want to change with this movie. I mean, actually, I could do watching it now. It might cool me down, I think, to be honest. Being in that, in the polar ice caps on that ice station. But yeah, there's so many good memories of this film. Kurt Russell's brilliant. The special effects by Rob Bottin, because these are all practical effects and mechanical devices. None of these CGI of today in this movie.
No.
Just brilliant. I just can't. Another film I can't praise enough for what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah. Okay, we're swiftly moving on because I'm getting sweaty and I'm going to pass out.
Okay.
Wait.
So, number 4.
Yeah, what have you got?
Back to the Future, Part 1.
Okay, well, I'm going to say...
Back to 1985.
Yeah, mine is actually... That's my number 3.
Yeah. Well, we're close then. Very close.
Very good. I've got one... I could swap them around, but no. But yeah, what a fantastic film that is.
Yeah.
And it was weird because when I can't remember... I remember seeing it. I went to see it at the ABC in Reading off of Friar Street.
Yeah.
Which is no longer there anymore because you've got a hotel instead.
Yeah.
And some of those days, the trailers for movies coming out, they didn't want to show you a lot. So when I saw the trailer for this, when I went to see something else at that time, all you saw was Michael J. Fox walk around a vehicle, kicking it, and it just drove off. And that was it. That's all the trailer was. But you didn't really have a clue.
No.
What you were up against.
But it's an all-time classic movie.
It is, and the only reason I knew what it was about before I saw it was down to back in the day watching the film series that BBC had with Barry Norman. I don't know if you ever watched those.
I used to watch Barry Norman all the time on the film, whatever.
And I have just done a few tweets today because I was looking at some of his. He's got a few. You can find on YouTube some of the ones we did for the end of year. So 81, 83 and stuff like that. We've talked about Superman. I miss that guy so much. He passed away some time ago. But he was a great critic. And there are films that he liked I could not like at all. But it's nice to hear how his thoughts on some of these films.
It is. It's worth watching some of those old ones if you can see them. Just to see what they're actually like. But, the way that films were reviewed and everything. And the way he did it, it was really good. I used to love watching the film ones. Yeah. Although I always used to give it a bit more of a cheer when it was a film that I'd like.
Yeah, because you wouldn't sometimes... There would be a few films there that were out there that could be foreign or anything,
Well, he used to review everything, from the French, LA noir sort of movies.
Oh, God, yeah.
Right, and all of the arty-farty kind of ones, right the way up to Star Wars and stuff like that. So
yeah, and I did actually. If you look for that tweet I did this morning,
yeah,
it's a YouTube video it's about 45 minutes long, but it's Barry Norman going over to Amblin to chat to Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
And it's obviously at that point it would have been all those big films that he brought out for us in the late 70s, early 80s. And he's chatting about that. Well worth a listen.
Yeah, brilliant.
Okay, my 4. I've gone for 1993, and quite actually say in tune at the moment, but I've gone for Jurassic Park.
Yeah, good film.
Which was what we say the beginning of CGI.
Yes. Well, the beginning of realistic looking CGI.
Oh god, yeah.
Yeah.
And seeing a dinosaur up against everyone else and how they did all that. Again, John Williams doing the score, which is brilliant.
Yeah.
And you got Spielberg involved with this as well. There's some great stars in this that work so good together, including Jeff Goldblum and Sir Richard Attenborough, amongst others. Great, and as much as you think that the way this film progressed throughout the years did get a bit diluted at times.
Yeah.
But from the last, I haven't obviously not seen the latest one, but yeah, they came back to life again in a different format, and they're great. Love them to bits.
Produced by Kathleen Kennedy as well,
I know, and she, as I say,
so it goes to prove she can make good films.
It was, and she was involved in quite a few.
I know.
If you look at her I suppose resume on in the movie database.
Yeah.
All those films you love are there. Even E.T., but maybe not for you.
Yeah. Well, that should have been the warning sign for Star Wars, shouldn't it?
well. So, what's your number 3? Because we've already talked about mine.
Okay. 1982. Star Trek 2, The Wrath of Khan.
So I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, go back, anybody, and you check out what movies came out in 1982. You'd be surprised what good times at the cinema we had.
Yeah.
For 1 year.
Yeah.
And we haven't got to talk about my last one yet, which you're probably going to guess anyway. But, I think they were doing another Star Trek on Sky the other day, because I've already got them saved on my hard drive.
Yeah.
But again, this is another film that we know inside out. We know the score. We know the script.
Yeah. Well, I for that one, I could actually go right the way through the whole movie.
Exactly.
And quote every word for word. The same with my next one as well. But what's your number 3?
My number 3 was Back to the Future. So
right. Okay.
So number 2, yeah.
So my number 2, 1980. Can you guess?
Hey.
It's a sequel.
Return of the Jedi?
No, that was 83, mate.
Oh, no,
The Empire Strikes Back.
I told you it was going to be in there, didn't I? Somewhere?
Yeah, it would be. Of course it would be.
Yeah. Okay.
What's your number 2?
My number 2 is my favourite horror movie of all time.
Yeah.
Which is The Exorcist from 1973.
Fair enough.
Which, as I say, I don't need to say more about that at the moment. Check it out if you want to scare yourself crapless, and it just works in every way.
Yeah.
Number 1?
Shaun of the Dead.
Really? That's interesting.
2004.
Yeah, I've watched it again recently, funny because I say I picked up the soundtrack to that, which is just the incidental music.
Yeah.
Which is in blood red vinyl. You got red on you?
Yeah. This film introduced me to Simon Pegg because I was aware of Spaced, and I looked at it and I thought, I didn't watch it.
So have you never watched Spaced?
I'm coming on to that, but
okay.
I was aware of Spaced and that he was in it, but for some reason it had never appealed to me. Then I watched this, nearly wet myself with laughter right the way through because it was hilarious. And then I immediately went out and bought Spaced on DVD and watched it.
Yeah, I've got the box set behind me as well.
Yeah, so have I. But, and then that was sort of like, my, right, okay, he's one of my new favourite actors now. So him and Nick Frost, I think they're just both hilarious.
Yeah, because I say a lot of those. I mean, a lot of Simon Pegg's movies of the last, we'll say with the Cornetto trilogy.
Yeah.
And if you go and see who was in space, they're all in it.
Yeah, they are. Well, even in Shaun of the Dead, and it's also got what do you call him? Was the only guy in the village.
Yeah, I know.
He was on Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah.
What's his name? He was also on Shooting Stars with Little Britain.
Yeah,
he was Andy. Yeah, no.
Yeah. Yeah, I just, he's gone completely out of my head. But anyway, yeah, I know you're why you're doing that. Yeah, because I, as I say, there's some classic moments in Shaun of the Dead, and it just works so well. Oh yeah,
it's absolutely brilliant, brilliant movie. Matt Lucas, by the way.
That's it,
yeah, fantastic, just so funny. Loved the story. I loved just the tongue-in-cheek humour. Bill Nye on it as well. He was so good.
Yeah, as his stepdad.
Yeah.
Did you know he touched me? In a different way. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah.
No, I love Bill Nye. He's such a good actor.
I mean, if you look at the whole cast, his mum, she was in Doctor Who.
Yeah.
She played the Prime Minister, didn't she?
Yeah.
In the early days of the reboot of Doctor Who.
Yeah.
I'd say what I like about that was how they played on what they were doing when they were trying to get over the fences and get to the Winchester.
Yeah.
And they bump into his ex-girlfriend, and then they had another set of characters which were like the reverse mirror of them.
Yeah, and Martin Freeman was one of them as well.
He was, yeah. And so there was one of the guys there, one of the League of Gentlemen was there as well.
Yeah. And Matt Lucas was one of them as well. That's what.
Yeah, he was.
And
he was like Nick Frost character because he was always in his phone.
And also it was I forgot the guy who did the voice for Darth Maul.
Yeah, because he was there. He was there. The other member there in their apartment.
Yeah. He was sharing the house with him.
Yeah, and he got bitten at work on the way home from work, didn't he?
He did. It was Peter Savenovich.
Yeah.
But Tasman Gregg, she's in it as well.
Yeah. She was in Spaced.
Was she?
I think it was her.
Yeah, Dylan Moran. Lucy Davis, who's Jasper Carrot's daughter, who was also in The Office.
Yeah, because she played the girlfriend to the guy that was in Black Books. I can't remember his name now. You might have just said his name.
I did. Yeah, Dylan Moran.
Yeah, because when they did, do you remember Run? Was it Run Fat Boy Run or something like that? What it was called now?
Yes, I've got that on DVD.
Yeah, because he was in that as well. But that's quite a good film.
Yeah, Julia Deakin, who was also in Spaced as well, and Rob Brydon was on it as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, there's a few well-known names in there, or at least faces.
And the voice of Keith Chegwin, mustn't forget that.
Was Chief? Was he?
Well, you know on the TV when they had the zombies doing that, like it's knockout style.
Oh yeah. At the end of the movie,
that was Keith Chegwin.
Yeah,
if I remember rightly. I might be wrong, but yeah, I'm sure it was. So, yeah. And quickly, because we move on, there's not a lot I need to say about my number one, but obviously that's Blade Runner from 1982. One of the slowest movies on the planet for a lot of people, but I love it to death. And it's another one of those perfect movies that's been made. And I think some people
would say perfectly boring movies.
And I will shoot anybody that disses Blade Runner 2049. Because again, off the back of that, that's another fantastic movie.
Yeah.
But people that don't appreciate these movies don't know cinema.
Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, as you know, that Steve lives in a parallel universe.
Anyway.
Okay.
Should we move on?
Yeah. Do listener questions.
John, what's happening to us?
Right. So Mark's got a couple for us. I'll do the first one. When will we see the successor to the Xbox One X and the PlayStation Pro?
At the end of this gen.
I've got 2020. There you go. That's it. That's what I say.
Do you reckon?
I think huh?
You reckon?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think it'll be 2022. And the reason why I think that is because they've released the X and the Pro mid-cycle, so I think that that'll extend the life a little bit, unless there is a sudden push to 60k 4K gaming, 60 FPS 4K gaming.
Well, it'll be 8K by then anyway, because we're going to get those TVs
yeah, it probably
soon.
will be as well, but... well, they're already out, actually, to be honest.
8K are already out.
Yeah.
If you'd have gone to the electronic show in Las Vegas beginning of this year, they're already on the stands.
Mm.
But yeah, really good. But yeah, it's not a lot you can say. I mean, the industry are saying 2020.
Yeah,
I probably agree with that because we're on that mid-console cycle at the moment.
We are.
So do you want to do question 2?
So question 2 is: will Sony ever offset the sticks on a PlayStation controller?
Not in a million years. It'd be nice.
It would be.
But I don't, because you know how snotty PlayStation are with all things called let's join in together with online, and Nintendo can join Microsoft in Minecraft. But Sony are just so set in their ways. Bunch of old dodderies there, I think.
Well, to be honest, I just don't think that they need to adapt anything in any way, because...
I mean, there might be... I don't know if there's any any other controllers out there that you can use that maybe got offset.
Yeah, there are. I've got one. Actually, I've got two. I've got one that's wireless, which is a Hori controller. And then there is... two, sort of like they were dubbed like the Elite, the Namco controllers, but that's got offset, but it's wired, and it doesn't have all of the features that the other ones do. So, yeah.
Okay. So if we just quickly move to Facebook, we've got a couple of questions here. A bit thin on the ground with this hot heat maybe for questions, but...
Yeah, I think it's probably not that conducive time of year really for people providing questions, to be honest. But if you do have any questions, don't forget to send us them in every week.
Or we'll come round and we'll shove a bat up your nightdress, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So Michael Edwards, I had a £50 voucher for Argos, considering buying the PSVR. AIM controller with Farpoint bundle for $47.99.
Yeah.
And while I was oohing and ahhing whether to take the £2 loss on my voucher, the blooming price went back up to $54.99. Have you ever missed the boat on a game or device?
Yeah, often.
And then also it's well worth sometimes waiting to see it come back down again.
Well, I mean, I jumped in on the PSVR, which was just a PSVR with PSVR Worlds, for $269. 2 weeks later, it was $199, and it had an extra game.
And it's gone back up again now.
Yeah.
Because I know you don't cough in your coffee, but I was looking at possibly at some point picking one up. I don't know why I was saying this, and I haven't at the moment anyway.
Well, actually, I've seen it gone down to 170. Somewhere.
But I think I was looking on Shop 2.
Right.
But,
no, I wasn't looking at Shop 2. I was just looking generally. If you look at Hot UK Deals,
yeah,
they have a lot of offers on there, and that was one of.
Yeah. I was just really. Do you know? I was really. There's a couple of games that I like. I was obviously interested in Star Trek.
Yeah. But
also the game the game that comes from the team that did Until Dawn.
All right. Okay.
They got the one that was off the back of that, which is set in the asylum, isn't it?
Yeah, it's Until Dawn, whatever it is. I can't remember.
But I mean, at the moment, I've got to play anyway. But yeah, it's difficult. I mean, the games are gold at the minute. When you look at what deals they do, linking to those, they're always worth a look at. They get pretty cheap. I mean, I think they're doing all the Forza stuff at the moment. A load of it dirt cheap. So, you know, I say we don't always have to dive in at the first minute with something. We know we can wait and pick it up later.
Yeah, that's very true.
So, do you want to talk about the last question? Because I think we'll have to physically do this to prove it.
Okay. 1-on-1 with these games, who would win?
And this is by Craig Cole, by the way.
Yeah. Destiny PvP.
1-on-1.
Yeah.
I'd debate on that. That'd be pretty close.
Yeah. I think if it was PvE, I think I would probably maybe just pip you.
You're right.
No,
okay.
I do, because you think about all of the times when we've done strikes and it showed you the things at the end. I've invariably had more kills.
Yeah, but that's not what it is. Not when you're one. It's 1-on-1. This is not.
Okay.
This is,
no,
so
that's what I'm saying. If it was PvE,
yeah. But anyway,
I possibly could, but I don't know. PvP, I think would probably be quite equally matched.
Project Gotham Racing.
Or Forza. I'll let you have that one because you're more of a racer than me.
Yeah, I'd give you Fortnite.
Yeah.
I can't stand it. I really can't stand that game. It's not for me.
No, I can't. It's a kid's game.
Yeah. And Sensi Soccer. Well, maybe we might get the penalties on that one.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I think you probably get the slight.
I don't think. Because obviously we've just had a few games from Back Compat come out recently, and one of them is Sensi World of Soccer.
Yeah.
Which I own. I need to download. I don't know if that is multiplayer or not. I don't think it is. No, I don't think it will be. It's too old.
Yeah.
But we could have jumped on that and had a go. But then you're not a footy fan, so I'll probably win the penalty shootout.
Who knows?
Anyway, should we call this a day? Because I really need to get out of this room because I think I've shedded about 2 stone in sweat.
Well, you said you wanted to lose weight.
I know. And I need a drink. Anyway,
we'll do the closing bits then.
So, just a bit of contact information. Obviously, my Twitter handle is @Steve07. PSN ID, the real Steve07. Xbox, Steve07. Email, steve07@popculturegamers.co.uk. Although I still haven't logged into that one yet. I need to sort that one out.
God, man, you need to get that sorted.
I know. And yourself, Hayden?
So YouTube, if you have a look at Haydn Rees-Jones, on Twitter and Twitch, it's HERJUK, and exactly the same on PSN, Xbox Live and Steam, it's HERJUK. Email is herjuk@popculturegamers.co.uk. Don't forget as well that there is an inquiries email if you want to email us about anything, just podcast@popculturegamers.co.uk. And we have our website as well, which is popculturegamers.podbean.com, no www at the beginning. Also, we have a Facebook group, and we are also now, if you're not already listening to it, on Spotify.
Woohoo!
Woohoo!
We're getting around. We are still the little people in the podcast world, but we try and rattle a few cages, don't we?
We are, but evidently, based on the numbers that we're getting, and some studies that have been done of podcasts out there, we're well into the top 50% of podcasts in the country.
Well, that's not too bad.
Yeah. So, because there's so many podcasts out there, and some people just never get any listeners.
No.
So...
But you also, you can get us on multi-format ways of even on Facebook, and I mean some of you guys are in my own personal Facebook as well. So some chat to me on messaging there and all sorts. So
yeah,
there's always one way to stalk us.
Yeah, but I mean we also have the Pop Culture Gamers YouTube channel, although that doesn't actually presently have its own name. Because we need to get 100 subscribers on there. So if you
we need to actually put some videos on it, don't we?
There's shows uploaded onto YouTube as well automatically.
I'm on about other videos we should be doing at some point.
Yeah, well, I mean, what I'm going to do is do some playlists of the videos that are on my channel as well, so that it gives us a bit more content. But also, I'm intending on doing a little bit more, maybe some live stream stuff like that as well. So,
I think maybe we should start doing a bit more a mixer as well.
Yes, definitely.
So, anyway, I think it's time we got the heck out of here.
Yep.
So, thanks for guys. Hope you enjoyed the show. You will see us again next week, all being well. So, it's a good night from me.
And it's a good night from him.
Good night.
Good night.
You are about to witness history in the making.